We will call to order the Tourism and Arts Commission meeting for Tuesday, June 24th, our interview process for grants for 2025/26.
Yay.
Okay,
So glad this is here because I'd heard rumors that it was going away.
Well,
yeah.
So I'm glad it's here.
you know what happens is we have the event and you get all these warm fuzzies and then you go, of course we have to do it again. Of course we do.
Well, you're gonna say you were exhausted afterwards. So I have to do this again.
No, it's like right before the event.
Yes.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I just to myself
Yeah.
here. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's great and people are like, you have to do this again. And this year was especially it was, I think I put it in the application. We had the person with, that brought interpreters. So he was deaf and it really just made for this really interesting, dynamic. That was really cool.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, so last year you were given 40,000, this year you're requesting 41,000. And it seems like it's pretty straight over tackle from years past.
This isn't your final, is it? Do we have your
Estimated.
final
It's in the blue packet.
Should be
It's in the blue.
the final.
back here?
Mhm.
Yeah, on this upper Friday's day? For Friday?
For Friday. I don't, she put some of those in,
Oh.
sorry.
The finals are,
It's in here
Oh, I didn't.
for some reason.
Oh.
yeah, there's two. There's the one
Fridays.
for the Friday
Yeah,
meeting.
I didn't get that one.
Oh, it's probably sitting in
You
there.
want me to grab it?
Probably,
Yeah.
no, it's fine. I can get it.
So
Yeah,
then
because I
I'll
turned
look for it, but how many people did you have from out, from 50 miles away? Oh, you don't?
I'm trying to find
What,
it.
you
I
don't?
wanted
You
to-
know,
I-
that's crazy.
It's very low.
You only have 4 jobs.
No, 70 something?
It was like 76.
Okay, yeah,
Oh, well, that's great.
yeah.
Since
Yeah, that's
before,
great.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, you have, yeah,
those are the meetings.
you
Okay,
estimate 75.
someday you'll get to 100. I just know it.
And are you thinking still same?
So here's the invoice thingy.
Yeah,
So-
that was,
Join us. We're only tiny in here.
yeah, there was, I don't want to confuse you, but
Yeah.
I'm looking over here. There was an invoice,
Oh,
but
fine.
that's not
It's
part
nothing
of the
relative to
packet.
this.
And actually the amount is wrong. She billed me wrong, but anyways.
Okay,
Ignore that.
But if you're like, why is this in here?
Yeah, gotcha.
It's in the you'll see it's in my final. Thanks.
It's your thing.
and still planning on very similar format, locations, all of
Yeah.
that.
I
as yours
already
prior.
have the contract with the Sursan.
Okay,
So same dates.
okay,
April, I think 11th
Yeah.
through the 13th or something.
17 through 9.
Yeah, so
Okay.
around this, it's
Yeah.
same week, obviously, just
Yeah.
a different date.
Mhm.
We already had like 4 lawyers, authors that had sort of committed, and then all of a sudden we had asked them again and said, remember you said you were gonna be available in 26 and only one is a maybe right now. So we're
Okay.
kind of back to the drawing board on who we're going to ask. But yeah,
Okay.
we're already working towards the next year.
Are they-
And not really changing anything
Okay.
because it seems
To
to
be-
be
73.
the way
Sorry.
people like it.
My comedy festival in Get Lit got. Yeah, there's some.
So you're not changing the ticket prices?
I did.
Oh, you did.
I did change the ticket prices. I bumped it up, I believe. I bumped it up last year, but I'm also, I think I didn't bump up the dinner to 7. I kept it at 75, but there's just no way. There is no way. And so I bumped that up to 85.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I say 120 for a full event and then 85 for the dinner.
Yeah. And that's bumped up.
Okay. And you
Um,
feel like the advertising that you guys are doing is working, getting to the right people?
I feel like it's better. I think I think it was 2 years ago where I spent like, I don't even remember, 11,000, 13,000 or something on shelf life and all these
Yeah.
ads, and it did not do anything for us. And this year, I do. I feel like, we did something new this year, which was, a podcast. And so, I can't remember. I can't remember the name. It should be, it's in probably the final.
Oh,
And she contacted, but you pay for it for the advertising, but they make it so it seems really organic.
Mhm.
And that was the first year we did that, and we were a little late on that one, so I'm kind of hoping that we'll get in a little earlier, and see if that makes a difference.
I mean,
But
readers listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't really have any big, I think I've asked the ones I had, but
we also had a cookbook author this year, and that was really fun.
That's interesting.
At the wine shack. Yeah. And she was blown away. Like, she sent me like the nicest letter and note cards, just thanking me for inviting her, because she ended up attending all the sessions, and she was like, I just can't believe what a great event this is.
Tell
So
your friends.
I know, I did. And same with Renee Denfield. She's a Portland author, and she was our keynote. And so
That
I'm
was
gonna,
Really good.
yeah.
Jim said he was blown away.
It was
by
really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I forgot you.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the cookbook. My mother would say her library is cookbooks.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what she reads.
This,
in this.
I don't know if you've
but-
seen this cookbook, Julie. It's called Food Plus Wine, and it's in New Seasons, but it's beautiful.
Yes, I
Yeah.
have seen it.
It's
Yeah.
gorgeous. I mean, she the photography, and then she pairs up with winemakers in the valley, so it's really good, spectacular. She kind of messed up because she didn't bring any books to sell,
Oh.
and everyone
Clearly.
Mhm.
How weird.
She needs a marketing person.
Right. Yeah. She clearly was not.
Yeah.
Always something else.
So, and she, again, I think she just didn't know they were traveling quite a
Yeah.
bit right before the event. And, I said to her, I don't know, she's very, I don't think she thought people would want to buy it for some reason. I don't know. It was interesting. I know. That's what I mean. Like, she's so humble.
Well, the good news is now you know to remind everybody, please bring some.
Please bring some.
We'll buy.
Thank you, Dr. Remind me.
Thank you, Dr. Remind people. But-
Yeah, yeah. The Cannon Beach book company had one, and I bought it. So, and then I actually went to New Seasons and bought another one for Stephen for hosting her.
Yeah.
Because I
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
have it, so,
Right.
That's great.
yeah.
Will you get a cookbook every year now?
If I can,
Yeah.
it would be great. So yeah, anybody know of any
Oh, I do.
cookbook
I
author?
might have a couple ideas for you.
And there was another artist trying to tie in with the arts. Michelle, I asked you about her,
Oh, Lisa, yeah.
Lisa, and she unfortunately just wouldn't be available during this date, but it was something that we had looked
Yeah,
at.
yeah, yeah.
Trying
She
to,
lives in well, she has a house in Manzanita.
yeah, and that she would be great. So maybe future, it just didn't work out.
Okay,
Okay. Right, yes.
Yeah, send them my way.
okay.
Because I'd love to do a cookbook.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
said, it's really interesting how,
Well, and they've stepped up their game. I mean, cookbooks of old are not the new
No.
cookbooks at all.
Well, that's
Uh,
another dimension to the whole event.
yeah,
Yeah.
it does. And we tried to do music 1 year, because I think one of the things we really, instead of just doing everything at the Surf Sand and just having the reading event, that's when we moved it to the Wine Shack. That's when we did readings at the library. That's when I tried to get some musicians to do it, and then COVID happened, so that kind of fell by the wayside. So we've kind of skipped the musician because it really isn't a great venue for it. But the Wine Shack has just been really great to let us do anything there. We did have Bobcat Bob actually play at the Wine Shack. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. Well,
Sorry.
oh. Unless we have any other questions, I think
Okay.
we're good. Thank you
Okay.
for your time this morning.
Going back to
After
the
farmer's market.
Back to one of your jobs.
You guys.
Thank you.
Don't forget to take videos.
Oh, yeah. Okay, videos. Yes.
Talk about marketing. Hey. Beach gallery.
You know, we forgot to ask.
Oh, no.
If she wants to do a chamber video or if she's done a chamber video.
Oh, yeah.
Because the chamber wanted us to do that.
I
Right.
think they've done a Get Lit video.
I thought
She's
they
still out
had
there?
to.
Tracy,
Tracy.
like here or out there?
Yeah.
Tracy?
Tracy.
Yeah.
I'm not done.
I guess I should.
Have they done a Get Lit video for you on the chamber? I
No.
could swear there was one.
There was about
So it's old,
2019.
Yeah, that's what I was.
so it's just an old
And-
one. So you'd be
yeah.
up for doing another one?
Yeah, and I say it every year,
Okay, well,
Okay,
and I just never get.
that's okay. We'll take care of that.
yeah,
Mhm.
thank you. Thanks for that reminder.
Thanks. I'd forgotten about that.
Okay. Cannon Beach Gallery Group.
There's 1, 2, 3 of those. Okay.
What, can I ask, since, it's my first time,
Yes.
why does the gallery group get money for stormy weather when that's a chamber event?
Because they participate, because they
Just 'cause for, like,
participate in it, because
Advertising
it's,
and stuff.
Yeah, it's
I was like, huh? Huh?
to level up. Spring Unveil.
it used to be a chamber event that obviously had to do with the galleries.
Yeah.
And there was no collaboration between the two, so there would be overlapping events and we just decided it doesn't make sense to do this as a, chamber runs a thing and then the
Yeah.
galleries participate. Why don't we get together and
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense. I was just
Hey.
curious.
So say the marketing campaign is for them to level up. They're already cohesive group.
and specifically
yeah.
for stormy weather, so. It's combined.
Oh, the last year was really good. The best one yet. Just FYI, as a gallery.
Good.
I think there's.
Still out there. Oh, God, sorry, I'm in.
Oh, I
in
still-
the-
I can get from the door.
It's like,
This is.
howdy.
Good morning. How are you?
Hi there.
Good place to sit.
Doesn't matter.
Which event would you like to start with?
Yeah.
Or grant proposal?
Let's start with the spring unveil.
Okay. Let's start with that. Date of events, May 1st through 3rd. Last year you received 11,300. This year you're requesting 1,300 or 13,000, I mean, sorry. I'm stealing your copy. 11,300.
We only need 1,300.
And what would you like to tell us about this next year? Anything?
Number one, my name is Joe Clayton.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Joe.
I'm with Bronze Coast Gallery.
Yes.
I know Michelle and,
Jackie,
pardon me?
Jackie.
Jackie.
Libby.
Libby, thank you.
Julie Walker. Hi.
Good to see you. So, I'm here on behalf of the Cannon Beach Gallery Group. There is 11 member galleries currently. The spring unveiling is an event that we have been putting on for over 25 years, in coordination with TAP and the city. I've been involved for the last 8 years since I purchased Bronze Coast. The previous owner, Kim Barnett, established the gallery group along with Jeff Hull, who to do anything, not to be here with me today is in Hawaii. So, you know, last couple of years, you know, but then, you know, he checked the schedule when this meeting was and then scheduled this. I know, so normally he's here and can shed even more light on that. The goal of spring unveiling is to have the participatory galleries in our group come together. We do joint marketing on it ourselves, and we bring in specific artists to make the weekend more of a destination event where we have clients who come like every year just for that. So that's pretty much an overview of the event.
14,000 to cover
Yeah, the overall,
advertising or?
yeah, advertising is part of that, and we advertise year round. We advertise in our guide that we put together. A lot of that is based on the dues of the members is what we use to put the guide together that's circulated both at hotels within the galleries. And then each of us on our own website promote it as well. But we do a fair amount of advertising. That's what a good chunk of the money that we do put in for that event.
So you do 3 printing things, posters, a brochure and postcards?
Correct.
Okay. Are the postcards specifically for spring unveiling or is it?
No, strictly for
unveiling.
spring unveiling.
All right.
What we do there is, because we are competitive businesses, we send our mailing list to a collective third party, and then they put together the mailing list and they take care of sending out the postcard, but we design it and let them know exactly what to send.
Okay. And is that the cost of just the postcards or the postcards and the mailing?
This
to a
is the
third
cost of the postcards. I think the mailing
December.
cost, I think we've picked up
Is that under advertising, that portion?
that could be, yes.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't know where
the postage.
postage,
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And how did your passport thing work out this year?
It worked out good. We had more people do it. What we do is we tie it into, we were up to 5 of the gift certificates that we've passed out. What we thought was interesting this year was most of the, more than in the past, majority of the passports came in with all the gallery stamped on it.
Wow.
It's 5 or 6, which is the main reason of the passport, is to push people to go to every gallery, because that's the whole point of doing it.
Exactly. That sounds.
And that moves them
fabulous.
around town
Yeah.
because there's other things to do between them.
Right,
between the
exactly.
galleries.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, that's.
And then you could,
Encouraging.
and did they answer questions or just give you their address?
It's mostly just collecting information and address, because we want to get an idea of where they're coming from. And also it's more of a way to, we're trying not to collect too much information.
Yeah,
We're just trying to make sure they move around town and hopefully visit each gallery and spend some time.
So you don't ask if they've rented a place or stayed in a hotel?
We
You don't
did
ask.
1 year. I'm not 100%
Okay.
sure this year to
Okay.
be.
I didn't see the passport this year. I didn't actually see it, and usually I see it, so.
Make a note
Okay.
to include that.
Well, I mean, you don't want to be, I mean, I understand you don't want to get too intrusive either, because you don't want to look like Big Brother.
That's true.
And we're less focused for you on heads in beds,
Oh, I'm
but.
sorry. Did you-
No.
Okay, speaking about Big Brother.
I just had 2 questions. For the postcards, I'm just curious how many are sent out. Do you have any idea on?
Well, we don't send them
Yeah.
out. What they are is they're
Oh, what?
collected. What we do is we have them printed,
Okay,
and then they're put at different galleries.
Okay.
People pick them up and they start doing it.
gotcha. Okay,
That's for the Postcards or the passport?
Or I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah,
the-
postcards.
the
Are
pass-
those mailed?
passport, the postcards are sent out, yes.
Mailed,
Yeah,
okay.
those are mailed, the postcard, and we also print additional to be at each
keep.
gallery to pass
Okay.
out.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Prior to the event.
Right.
But you pick up the passport when you hit your first
Yeah,
gallery.
I'm sorry, yeah. the
Yeah.
passport.
okay, perfect. And the only thing on the actual budget side, when under the TAF request, the difference between the 11,300 and the 7,200, is that because the last payment hadn't been processed prior to this? I'm just wondering if we granted 11,300, it says actual 7,200. Just trying to do the math real
Oh.
quick.
No, I think last year was 11,300.
Yeah.
We requested.
Where do you see 7,200?
In the
back, on the
actual,
back
on the
page.
back.
Thank you.
I just maybe
Oh, the
final,
actual, yeah.
that the final payment hadn't gone
Yeah,
through.
the final
Okay,
payment had.
That's what I wanted to clarify. Wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I pulled
We were
actual,
okay on
actual
that.
numbers out of that. so.
What digital advertising do you do?
I'm sorry?
What digital advertising do you do?
Digital advertising, we do Facebook, we're starting to look at TikTok more and,
Instagram,
pardon me?
Instagram.
Instagram a little bit, yeah. And that was, and we're trying to look more into doing the digital. But it's majority,
I think it was Sierra, but she. got it,
Sierra is starting now to do it for us. We're using Gary Hayes, who's done a great job in the past, but time constraints and just changes, we've decided we're working with Sierra going forward with try to increase the digital side.
The,
I just hadn't seen it, so
Pardon me?
I just hadn't seen it, so I was just curious.
Yeah, I just started to really get it. It's been only
problem
a
with that
couple
sometimes
months.
is also that you're in the city that it's happening and.
Yeah.
Depending on how you do, it. we found this out when we were dealing with.
Yeah, I
Sarah,
know, yeah.
Where it's like, no, it's out there, so you don't.
It
see
doesn't target you.
Yeah,
And I ran your Instagram for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And I can't get it off my phone, by the way. I tried to get,
Put any things on it.
I tried to get Sierra to take it off and she's like, I can't figure it out.
Who's the event coordinator?
We used one last year, Northwest Events, and then now we're moving towards Sierra. For us, we're going back and forth between marketing and event coordination.
Yep.
And we tried to do both several years ago, and it was right church, wrong pew. Gary was doing some digital, some of the marketing, but I think we wanted to try to push that all a little bit further together, and that's what we're looking to do
Gotcha.
right now.
Okay, all right.
Great.
And I feel like a lot of people come from out of town,
Oh, yeah.
like just being a gallery. I've just noticed a lot of people come from out of town.
Yeah.
Dad's in bed too.
Great. Okay, any other questions on spring unveiling? Okay, let's move on to stormy weather,
Okay,
November
stormy
7th
weather,
through 9th.
yes. This is an event that we do sort of in coordination with the chamber. It is a chamber event. But, and again, this predates me, the galleries were very much involved. There was some auctions, there were drawing type competition. Yeah, quick draw, thank you. You know, as the world changes, the event has changed as well. I myself was on the Chamber Marketing Committee for several years. I was also chairman of the committee on the storm weather arts for the chamber. So the gallery group's always been part of Intricate. Even right now, we have a couple members on it. I think Michelle's been on it in the past. But so what we're trying to do there is support the chamber since a large part of that. One thing that started years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago, when I was on, there was the chamber had sort of done what we thought was not a very good job with what they were printing. And when you start talking art, you know, we want the art to be reflected right, because otherwise it doesn't look good. So that's where we decided to start making a donation and keeping involved in that. So a large part of our ask on the TAF funding is going to that. The other thing that we do is that in all our advertising throughout the year, in our gallery guide, we do have that event listed. So we're promoting that the year round.
Okay.
So that's why, even though it's a quote chamber event, we do it. Right now we have Ginger from House of Orange, and I think Summer is trying to hit occasional meetings as well. We do have members of our group on that committee to
Okay.
try to help. So it's an effort for us to work together. And most of that budget, as you can see, is going to advertising, because again, that helps us. And again, our advertising is in different magazine, it's in Preview, it goes all the way up to Vancouver, which is a large
Mhm.
market, from Vancouver down through Seattle into this.
So on the advertising, you said part of this donation is for the chamber to do the art thing. So I'm on chamber board, the marketing board, on the
Oh, okay.
marketing thing
Okay,
and this.
yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out what are you helping to pay for the artist that gets chosen for the year?
No, what we
okay.
do here is more of what we give to the chamber is the event brochure. So we make a donation of basically sponsorship. We do a sponsorship
Yeah,
of
yeah.
$2,500.
Okay,
Basically for that sponsorship that covers the galleries that are listed in the brochure. And also it provides extra funds to the chamber to get
gotcha.
a better
Okay,
brochure out.
thank you. Got it.
I guess we didn't feel it was fair asking the chamber to upgrade something
Mhm.
without
I
Yeah.
gotcha.
putting some meat to the bone.
Did you feel like last year's was pretty successful?
Yeah, I mean, a stormy weather can be a little bit, as you weather dependent.
Yeah.
I thought it was
but,
the best one yet. I'm
pardon me?
serious. I thought it was the best one yet.
Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it was.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No.
I was like, it was really good.
Yeah. You're a lot younger than me, so I mean, for me, it's a lot of the things start to mix together.
I understand.
And for me, it's sometimes hard to know because we have so many people and so many clients that come.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm literally working the whole weekend, so I really don't have, I can't say, wow, it's been a great show, because I don't know how everybody else has done.
Yeah.
And for us, it also is dependent on the artist. So if we have the right artist, and then, yeah, we do well. So,
And there were a lot of events around it and it brought a lot of people
Mhm.
in. It was great.
it's good.
And well advertised, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that was part of I think, yeah, when I was on the chamber eight years ago, I was on for 3 years and moved off, and advertising, I think, was starting to drift a little bit. Now I think they've zeroed back in a
Yeah.
little bit. Because back then, as we got into COVID, it was, people were trying to cut back on advertising. And I was saying at that point, you have to be prepared to spend more money coming out of COVID, because people are going to want to travel, and you're not competing. You're not looking for people to come here. You're competing with the rest of the world. So you really have to advertise. And I'm not sure whether they had the funding at that time to go all the way through that. But, because yeah, I think we did well right after COVID, and then all of a sudden everybody can travel to Europe. So now,
Yeah.
now the Europeans are like, don't come anymore. So hopefully they say that to a lot more people and they come here instead. So,
Well, and there were a lot more programs and this year. There were a lot more events, and I feel like
Yeah.
a lot more online. I saw it online a lot.
yeah. Yeah, and that's, I think there is a number, and the good and the bad about, a lot of the businesses here in Cannon Beaches, we all have different target markets.
Mhm.
And so and my background is marketing and sales, it's not art. And so we have a lot of different target markets. And so you're right, sometimes you have to hit, the good is, yeah, you got a lot of these people coming in from all these different areas. The bad thing is, how do you get each each of those groups. So that's why we're moving towards a little bit more digital because, there's a lot, other galleries that yours and others that are bringing in, different individuals.
Yeah.
We need to make sure
I
they're
feel
coming
like
in.
Vera did like a really good job with
Yeah,
pushing it or
yeah,
whatever.
and that's sort of why we're trying to move some of our dollars over to more of the digital. stuff.
Yeah,
And with the, I don't know what you requested last year, but you're requesting 2,000 more than last year received. Is that, I mean, I'm assuming some of that is just increased costs, but is
Yeah,
there
I think
anything
it's increased cost
Okay.
in advertising
in
and
maybe
design.
trying to
And
do?
the other thing is the advertising week campaign that we've been running every day is an art walk. It's new, it needs to be updated.
Okay,
And we have several different things several different ideas that we're looking at
great.
from that respect.
Is there a reason
Part of
you
those dollars will go to that.
change the design of the pamphlet?
Pardon me?
Is there a reason you don't change the design of the pamphlet? Is it just like proven that people the same one every year? Because it looks the same every year, except for it's like the pictures are a little different. It's the same green and the same
Yeah.
dots.
Yeah.
Does people know what they're grabbing? Is that why? Like, just curious. Seems like,
They're grabbing.
yeah, it's the same pamphlet every year, but it's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
and-
different stuff, but
Yeah, it's different stuff. And I think the other thing is what we do at our gallery is basically I have my staff basically, they actually hand the brochure out, and number two, they open it to the events.
yeah,
Because for us, I mean, my feeling is, which having only been here 8 years, there are some cities on the East Coast where I used to live in the Midwest that people routinely go to, but I've always been amazed how many people come back here to Cannon Beach over and over. And so what we've tried to do is, especially anybody new, but also just to get people to come back, is we open the brochure and say, hey, just so you know, there's 3 events here every year. They're the off season or 2 events, whatever is going on that year. And, it's a great time to come back. There's not many people. It's not as crowded. And so we really try to promote those. And so, could we update the guide? I think we will eventually.
I just can't tell the difference between the years. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, well, the nice thing is that we go through them. So
Yeah, I know.
that's out about 10. I know how many we've been printing, and we don't print them unless everybody's out of stock, so we're not gonna waste
Yeah.
it. So no, and we've had some changes over the years as new galleries have come in and a couple have changed. So we feel if someone is in there, we're going to put out a new brochure. So we update that every year. So between that and not monitoring the numbers, we know there are people grabbing them.
Yeah,
And so I think, we could probably do the design. But we've tried to keep it a little bit, shall we say, a little bit on the simple side. So basically, you've
uniform,
got, here are the galleries, here are some ideas of the art, what perks your interest. And then at the end is like, hey, don't forget there's the city art, and then there's the events.
yeah.
A little bit more.
So you've got Media America in here twice for 3,500 in September and then 4,400 in March. And I'm assuming that March number is Cannon Beach Magazine.
I would say yes.
But what's the 3,500 in September? Do they do something else for you? Or are you in somebody else's visitor guide?
We are in another visitor
Oh,
guide.
okay,
I
that
know
must
we
be-
are doing that. We are doing
see.
another visitor card.
They don't do Travel Oregon, do they?
That I'm not 100% sure because I've moved off the marketing committee with
Yeah.
everything else I'm doing. I can get back to you on that.
Does Media America do Travel Oregon?
I don't know.
See if I can figure it out. Oh, the Oregonian was separate.
It's separate. Yes.
Okay, it's Jackie over here.
Travel Oregon. was like-
It is travel.
Which page were you,
Oh, it's got-
were you looking?
Oh,
I'm looking at on your
Oh.
budget,
Oh,
last year's
yeah.
budget.
Last
was-
year's budget, yeah.
Yeah, that was Media America's in there
Okay.
twice, but I'm not seeing.
It's got-
Oh, Media America does do travel.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
looking
there
at
you go.
Travel Oregon,
That's
Cannon
it.
Beach.
Yeah,
So one of, I know you're in Travel Oregon.
yeah,
Guide, yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
There's my answers. Okay. All right.
Okay, great. Any other questions on that one? Should we
What's it
move?
called? The,
Oh, go ahead.
are you gonna do
The year round.
no, the other event that's,
The outdoor.
Earth and Ocean, yeah.
Earth and Ocean.
Every other year,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
yeah.
Ocean Ocean has been every other year, due to, I guess, again, this predates me a little bit. There were a certain set of, there was a couple galleries years ago, yes, 15, 18 years ago. And so they started doing something in June called plein air.
Mhm.
So that event was, and then what happened was the gallery that had most of the plein air people left or closed down or went somewhere, closed down. So then there was some talk like for sculpting, it's hard to sculpt out in plein air or something real. They did it done in an hour. So what for us? So what happened was and people were saying, well, it's starting to get busy. We're getting a lot of time because again, I am fortunate, the gallery I have has a staff, but other galleries are running are just a couple of people. So the decision was made not to do something in June, but we still want to have an event. I think events are good, so we did. So we moved to Earth and Ocean. First couple ones were really well done, but they were very large productions, and that took a lot out of the people that did them. So we tried to scale it back, and it doesn't seem like we have the bandwidth within the group to do Earth and Ocean going forward. So we've decided not to do it. However, I will say, and I'm not asking for half money for it, but I'm having two artists come in weekend of September 12th. It just happened to be a weekend that works out for the two artists. And a couple other galleries may be having something going on. So I put together a list of anybody who has events during that week and have that at each gallery so that we can at least help each other.
Would this be the year for plein air? It would be, wouldn't it? Because last year skipped. Seems
No,
like-
last year we had Earth and
Yeah.
Ocean.
You
Yeah.
did. Okay, so you wouldn't have one
So
this
we
year
wouldn't have had one
anyway.
anyways, but being that it's in September.
Yeah.
And this committee doesn't really meet till July. If we were to have one next year, I would be in here today asking you for the money because we can't do all the work and then wait for the
Yep.
TAF money
Yeah.
a month before. the
Although
event.
that could be changing depending on, I wish Jennifer was here.
I know.
She would know. We're trying to make sure that becomes less of a thing.
Oh, okay.
Jennifer would be the expert on it, and
Yeah.
she's actually taking a vacation. How dare
I
she?
know.
Because it was that when we had Earth and Ocean last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah,
The prior year is when I asked.
yeah,
for the
exactly.
reason.
I will get with her to see if there's a way to come in after this, because I hate to have something limited because of timing of meetings.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems kind of silly, but
Yeah, well, it's how the money is awarded.
I know.
But it's really, if you understand you're doing it the year
right,
ahead,
yeah,
then you're okay. And to me, I tend to think of the events a good year ahead.
yeah.
I mean, on the stormy weather committee, as an example, when we were doing it, basically the event was in November. In January, we would have a wrap-up meeting for that event, and then
And then-
February, we would start for
Yeah,
stormy weather in
absolutely.
November. And, if you wait too long to do an event, then it's hard to put things together, so.
It's like painting the Golden Gate Bridge. As soon as they finish one side, they
Exactly.
start another.
Exactly, there you go. I'm gonna steal that.
Okay, great. Well, and the last application is for the year-round marketing campaign. Last year, we were awarded 10,400 and requesting 15,000.
15. And the reason we've increased it is, as you can see from the total expenses, we're trying to, the content creation, as I said, we need to update our marketing plan. Most marketing plans are good, or advertising plans, advertising / marketing, let's say, are really only good for about 3 to 4 years. And they need to be altered, either adjusted or altered done. Number two, we're trying to get more involved in the social marketing services. We are contracting with Sierra to do that. The paid social media is a lot of the Facebook boost and things like that that we try to do before each event. And then
Is
just,
somebody doing your public relations?
yeah, we're contracting with Sierra to do that.
Oh, Sierra's doing public relations too.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, that's, okay, public relations to us is I mean, I write press releases as something, to do and just overall, it's, to me, public relations is always a catchphrase for within the marketing.
so it's
So-
not that, is she sending them out to the media sources
Yeah, that's,
when you write the press release?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
what-
gotcha. Okay, gotcha. All right.
And makes them look cute and stuff, right?
pardon me?
And makes them look cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can take all the help I can get. I learned long time ago, there's a lot of people in the room smarter than I am. That's why I try to hire all those people that I don't have to, I can look, their number one job, make me look good. That's all I have.
So last year's, when you said the actual for public relations, 5,700, was that Sierra as well?
No, that was when we worked with Gary.
Oh,
and
okay,
he was-
gotcha.
He was doing part of that as well. I think Gary was transitioning to doing things with the city council from a timing standpoint. We were, I think the gallery group at the time, we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do a little bit. We had gone through a couple of changes. As I said, we'd hired one person, Alexis, who did a good job, but it wasn't what we thought we were getting. So I think it's just got to the point where we sat back and said, hey, there needs to be a little bit of a change here.
Okay, gotcha.
And then we worked with Sierra, and she came in with a proposal and said, wow, that would be great, but not going to happen. So then we went back and forth with her to come up with something that was, we thought we could afford with what we could offer, what the app could offer, and still get something for it. And we're giving it a try.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anyone else have any other questions on this one?
Time.
Straight over tackle to me.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Well, I thank the committee for the time and also for the funding, because having events, even though a lot of people come here, the events do, as you say, draw people. And so, I'd probably have 2 or 3 more. You have the city who doesn't want them, but maybe, the businesses, one hand washes the other. And
Yeah.
so I think this is I think you all do a great job. And again, if you have any other questions, let me know. I've tried to be as much detail as possible. So.
Great.
from that.
One last question.
Sure,
Oh, go for it.
go for
Oh,
it.
gosh, I forgot.
Yeah, go
Has the
ahead.
chamber done any videos for you guys?
Thank you.
It's
Um,
on your list today.
Or, I know, that's the one thing that is sticking in my head.
Well, Stormy Weather would be a
Yeah.
chamber event. It would be spring on.
They did one on Drea, as far as I know. I've looked through. And-
we've not,
Would it be something you're interested in? But
I think it would be very interested in, Yeah, I mean, for us, I mean, we like working with the chamber. Everybody in our group are chamber members. So, you know, that's why we support the chamber
You're there.
with people on committee and stuff like that. So for us, I think it would be a great idea.
Spring
You-
unveiling would
yeah.
be a Yes.
Stormy
Yes.
weather, you are slated on their proposed videos
Well,
for
Stormy Weather
this
is a
year.
chamber event. So
Yeah.
no problem.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But it looks like they have 3
We have been,
open slots for other,
For other tack,
yeah,
right.
for other TAC events.
because there were, I know in the past, they have done some. things.
Yeah.
and
Gosh, it
people
seems like
come.
we've done spring unveiling, but I thought we did get lit too. Well, we did.
Yeah.
It's just how long ago we
Too
did.
And I guess, I guess I would ask if you do them, if we would have more access to them. I think you may
Yes.
have them, but we may not know that
They're-
what you have.
And
And if it's, and I think, I always had asked the chamber, I thought should sometimes be a little bit more proactive
in-
with the businesses because they do a great job, but also, there has to be some type of outreach. And having a meeting and asking people to show up for a meeting is not outreach. to me.
they're also, over the last few years, we've discussed with them about making shorter snippets that are more social media savvy, so that if they are doing this one event, here's a little clip that you could throw on, you know, the
Yeah, I mean, we have our-
Instagram account.
the
website.
Galler Group
And-
has
Okay.
its own
It should
website.
absolutely be on your
And so
website.
we can
So
tie those in. That'd
Yeah.
be
I wonder,
great.
I'm an expert in this because I don't get on our chamber website very often for my own business, which is bad, but I think there is in the people who are members, a way into the website, and all those videos are accessible to you to use on your websites. Now, I don't know where they are and how to get to them, so I'm of no use. But that would be a question maybe for Alan. He might be able to tell you how to get to them. And then, also they have a YouTube channel for Cannon Beach. I don't know if it's under chamber or not. I don't know
It's under
where that is
Experience.
either. Experience
Yeah.
Cannon Beach, that's it. And any of those can be taken off of YouTube and put onto your website for sure. They may be too long, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not, but I mean, I know that we have tried to get it down to 1 minute. I'm sure there's 5
Yeah.
minutes, 3 minutes and 1 minute. So I'd ask Alan at the chamber, because I know that all those videos are out there and accessible, but I don't know how we're communicating that. And I haven't taken advantage of it myself, so not that there's anything there that makes sense for my customers, but
But again, I think,
we need to tell the members more.
yeah, like I tell my staff, you know, I mean, we do like a weekly newsletter to all our clients. And like I tried to stress to the staff and why we started doing a lot more during COVID. I said, how do you reach the people who are not walking through the door?
Mhm.
So you have to go to them.
Yep.
And I think sometimes the chamber, and I've said this before, it can be a little reactionary. And if they really want to up their game, it should be more proactive.
And what I get from them is, we send out a weekly newsletter,
I
which they
think should
do.
Try to read that after a while.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think our newsletter needs some help and, it doesn't need to scroll for 16 pages. So I think that we need to make some changes on that, but
And I think, you know, there's a lot of people who don't read emails, but they don't read emails because they've read the one that they don't like, so they don't want to read it. What we've gone is when I purchased Bronze Coast,
Mhm.
they used to do 2 or 3 emails a year and it was like 30 pages. And I
Mhm.
just said, this is not, so once COVID came, it was perfect. Easy for me to switch their
Mhm.
mindset. And coming out, they wanted to drift away from it. I said, no. And so now we do, and we probably get 68% of the ones we've sent out, we get a sale from. So, and it's real simple. It's just basically 1 paragraph and 5 photos, and that's it. It's a menu. People will see it and then they call you. And I think, you know, they started the Monday meetings. Unfortunately, I travel a lot and I'm always in town. But they started Monday meeting at the council, I mean, at the chamber, which I thought was great, except, you know, there's no minutes being published. There used to be a Wednesday morning meeting that everybody used to meet when I first moved into town. There would be, you would get something if you didn't go to the meeting that said, Harry, here's what was discussed. So if you're gonna have something like that, it's great to have. But if I don't go and I don't know what happened, why do I want to go?
Exactly.
And,
Yep.
and so it's sometimes the proactiveness that,
We're working on that too.
good,
We're
yeah.
not, we're not. gonna
I'm
start-
not complaining. I
Well,
mean,
we appreciate the
I
feedback.
put in a lot of time for the chamber,
I
you know, and
appreciate
so
the
I have a
feedback.
lot of respect for them and,
All stuff I've been thinking about too.
yeah, and I put that forth when after the first breakfast meeting, I went there and I said, this is great, but.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, build it and they will come is not a good model. It's, you gotta take them.
We've been doing.
What'd you say?
That's why I'm screwing up. To Mondays and found that isn't working and we realized there's no point in starting anything in the summer. So we're not doing anything through the summer.
Right.
The business after hours don't happen in the summer anyway. And so the idea is to go back to Wednesdays in the morning, September, October, and the suggestion is there needs to be minutes. So I don't know what that means and who's gonna do it and all that stuff doesn't matter. But I agree, it was, I mean, George Vedder was nice enough to do that.
Yeah.
Crazy man, I wouldn't do it, but but I agree with you, those minutes were very helpful, because in the summer you can't go.
And the other thing is, there needs to be an agenda. So.
That's harder.
I know, but it's really simple. You can have one that you pull up every month. I mean, I've got caught before because I haven't changed the dates of once I pulled up. All I know is when I went to go off the committee, Mr. Paul Duber said, well, can you at least stay on the committee and run the meetings? Oh, no, I can't. Do that. So, yeah, like I said, you have an agenda, you have a meeting, you have minutes.
Yep.
And then people will want to come.
Yep.
That's what is your goal? Is your goal to have a meeting or is your goal to have someone to
Information
stand there or do you want
imparted.
flow? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to have interaction? Sort of takes over. Yeah.
I
Sorry, I
appreciate
didn't
the
mean-
feedback. I appreciate
It's
the
all on your
feedback.
side.
And again, any questions, let me know.
I sure will. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
This is about the third or fourth time that I've put this together. Is there anything that I'm lacking that I need to do to make it better for next year? I reference last year's before I go into this year's and
So.
I
Thanks. It seemed nice and concise. I like that, you know, we kind of switched to the,
yeah, the fill-in
The
is great.
fill-in.
Yeah, that worked out great.
and
Oh, I got it and I couldn't get it. Then I had to go through the civics thing and then I called you. Yeah, I mean, that can be a little bit of a nightmare.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
yeah. But on our end, it's kind of easier for us to
Oh,
know
yeah.
where to
See
find,
everything.
yeah,
yeah, no, that's.
kind of
Same
apples
place.
to apples.
Yeah.
But as I
But-
said, I'm one who always tries to see if I can improve. some
Yeah.
of what this, as I said, I've been doing this 3 years and I was doing it the other day, working on it when I was a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, am I doing this right? This is
I would say on our end, probably it's right. Jennifer might have a different
think-
opinion, but I don't think so.
I think it's great. I think the only thing you could include would be a copy of like the
yeah.
passport or the
Yeah, I mean-
postcard
Yeah.
or the, you know,
I
things like
Yes.
that, so that,
The visual.
so that we can kind of see what it's going to. That
Yes.
would be great.
That's a good point.
But other than that, I think it's great.
Yeah.
Isn't there a way to track people on on their phones and see how many people are coming from out of
Yeah,
town?
someone,
Yeah.
the chamber,
you can do
the
that.
chamber was geo.
Yeah.
Is doing that. The only thing you have with that is like myself, I have a 248 number from Detroit, but I'm not coming from Detroit.
Yeah.
So if you're tracking phone numbers,
Which,
it's not,
lot of
that's what I said when
Yeah.
they started looking at it. I was like, how do you develop
develop
that?
that.
Yeah.
Well, now that you can keep your phone number, no matter where you
Right.
switch,
Yeah,
people aren't
makes-
changing their,
I think
So-
Dave
Numbers
has
to
an
the logo.
answer for that, but I'm not the expert.
Yeah.
Sierra worked with it
Yeah, I
and now
think there is a-
we're hiring a new marketing person that hopefully will be able to get more information about that because, yeah, you're right. It shows that you're here in a gallery in Cannon Beach with your Detroit number and it's like, There's gotta be a way around that. They have to have thought about it.
And personally, that's scary.
It's,
Yeah.
it would be on-
I might get to the point where I'm
It
like
is what it is.
looking,
though.
moving into,
It's happening right now.
I know, which is scary, you know. I keep looking at that.
I know.
Okay, you know, what's happened, but yeah, that's- unfortunately, it's gone that way. and
They
I'm
first
sick of it.
presented it to the council, and I wasn't at that meeting, but most of the time at the council was spent telling people how it worked, and they were
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? That they can know where, it's like, are you really that naive? Come
Yeah.
on.
Like, I mean, your phone does know where your home is.
Yeah.
Like, I've never entered my address. It knows where my home is.
Of
So
course it does.
it's,
I know
It
where
is
you
what it is.
traveled.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you're
The horseless
like-
carriage was scary too, but.
Exactly.
We're all up in the cloud.
Yeah, we are. Thank you, Joe.
Well,
Thank
great,
you.
thank you very much.
Wi-Fi password?
It's right behind you, posted.
Oh,
He's stacked.
raw.
I was like, it's
But
a
it's
zero.
not-
And a number, okay.
We headed
It's not the same
out
one. it
for
was
lunch
over
on
there, but they
Saturday and
changed it.
Fred goes,
My phone is giving me
It's not that
directions
close
to
to that
Bill's
way.
and I go, oh, big shit. You have Saturday lunch at
Yeah.
this.
I can't even see
I
it.
had something like that the other
City
day. I was
Beach.
like, how does
I'm
it
doing
know
city
where
beach.
I'm going?
It does.
It was so weird.
Mine used to be.
I
like-
didn't put it in. I didn't even like,
Oh,
you
oh,
know,
I know.
it just like popped
Mine's
up. And I
done
was like,
that,
what?
like sleeping.
And then R,
it
then a zero. Then.
Oh, yeah.
K.
It says
It's the
that
same
stack is the money sign.
Oh, it's not working.
Okay.
Is it Cannon, you're in
I think-
City of Cannon Beach? I'm gonna go for Cannon Beach Visitor and see if this works. But the weird thing is that I had the old one.
Should we leave that door open? Julie?
I want to get
On
in
the
there.
air
for that.
conditioning kicks.
I know, me too.
Get more.
It's like,
I know, I'm dying.
There you go. I forgot my.
I don't know if it's that this door opens and it like lets some
Shot
in
in.
or something.
Oh, gosh.
Is that a zero or?
It's a zero. That's what
Thank
it was.
you.
Yeah.
Zero. We can crack a door.
Okay, let's.
We can hear.
Yeah, right.
Join.
Okay.
Julie, once you get that connected, could I ask you to open that door and let?
That was Cannon Beach Visitor, Michelle.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, you guys are here too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was Cannon Beach Visitor for that
Password. And then a
Oh,
capital
okay.
R.
Visitor.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh,
Joy.
thank you.
Yes, I know, our tight quarters this year. We are here, we are here. Okay. Okay, so we have Cannon Beach Arts Association and Gallery.
Oh, that's intimidating.
Yeah, I know, you're, only the back of my head is on the
I know.
camera this year. I'm loving it. So we are looking at your grant proposal for the shoulder season. Which last year you were granted $27,050. This year you are requesting $30,298, which is 32% of the shoulder season program for you guys.
Correct.
Okay.
You did your homework.
I did. I highlighted even. Welcome. And I'll let you guys lead if you think you want to get kind of give your input from how last, and I know you summed things up somewhat in here, but if you have any comments about last year versus the plan for this year or things that you are looking to change. Go ahead.
Well, I guess so for this year, our grant primarily, what we're asking for is support for our shoulder season
Mhm.
exhibition programming. We do a rotating exhibition program, which means we do a new show every 5 weeks, which is great. It keeps the place exciting. We also do opening receptions along with those exhibitions. And so we have the artists come and they'll go around and do an artist talk during that opening, and we have food, and it's just a great place for the community to connect and kind of get to know each other and meet the artists. And then we also do, during the off season, I like to offer pop-up artist tables so the artists can set up their wares on like this 10-foot long table and then connect with the community and sell their product. Cause I think that's insightful for the community to meet the person making the stuff. And then we do workshops. So we try to have about 3 workshops. This year, I would really like to do more, and actually have more of a robust workshop program. Last year, we had slight change in our directorship. So I was able to we had 2 successful ones. One was like sold out. And then we had another one planned for the spring, but then the artist who was going to do it decided to move it to the fall. But this year I'd really like to do more, and get like, professional expert artists to come in and teach because, I think that's really fun. And then we do our individual artist grant, which is my favorite program, I think, where we give $2,000 out to just an artist studio practice. So it's kind of like there's strings attached, but not really. It's more for their materials and their studio practice. And then we do special events, like anytime somebody wants to come into our space and do something like the Fisher Poets, or they're like, oh, I want to do this, I don't know, do a speech or something or talk, we always allow that for free, of course. So that's basically the primary programming we do in the off season.
And last year, we re-implemented the artist talks with the receptions. And they're really popular because people want to know what methodology they use and what media and what their practice is. So that's been good. You'll notice that the consignment payments are a little less than we budgeted, and that is as a result of the economy we're in. And but one of the things we've done to offset that is we have an intern and an artist support person. And so we're able to be open 7 days a week instead of people going, are they open on Monday? What about Friday? And the other thing that is that the Bald Eagle, Tom and Lori, are kind of cutting back on their time. And the coffee shop participants bring a lot of foot traffic.
Yeah.
But as you can see, it's only like about 3,000 less than we anticipated. And last, well, what month is this? April. In April, we had quite a drop off in consignment payments. And that's when we implemented having being open 7 days a week. And now we're up to what we anticipated.
Okay.
The other thing we're doing that I'm kind of excited about is we're having somebody meet with our whole board to talk about fundraising, what we could do for fundraising and come up with strategies to create a, well, kind of like the History Center, and they have something every year and people grow to anticipate it. And so we want to come up with a strategy like that.
Okay.
Oh, and the only other thing I'd say, I can't help it, is one of the ways we're trying to grow is Summer is full-time. And as I mentioned before, she's taken over the majority of the grant writing. I just do the budget wiggles. And having additional people there supports the community, not just the artists, but to have people have jobs who live here.
Let me, the Lynn Allison Endowment, that was, I assume Tom did that?
Yes.
Yeah. He's not here, dang it. He's supposed to be here. I know, I called him this morning and he didn't answer,
Of
so
course, he's, jet lagged from
maybe
being
that's
in
it.
Africa.
Oh, that where he was? Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Has there been, did you guys have the show with her opening already?
We have,
It's
well,
coming.
the
Thank you.
one that he did, that Tom did, we haven't had yet.
Okay.
We have had a show of her work
Yes,
previously.
and
then, so he gave us this money with, it's got stipulations. It's a 12-hour a 12-year funding stream. And we'll have a juried show, and then the first prize person will get 1,500, is that right? Or 1,000?
Yeah, I think.
And yeah, and then the second, anyway, they'll get prizes, which
And
is
that's
kind of
for
cool.
the juror. There's been, the artist, the jurors will decide the prize, not people coming in.
Sure, we might do a public vote for
Okay,
that.
gotcha.
I will have to reread the contract.
Okay, I was just curious. So I wanted to make sure I didn't miss Lynn's show. I saw the one that was previous. but-
Well,
Okay,
don't you have it on the schedule? What date is it?
We do. It's gonna be in, I guess it's not on this grant, but it's gonna be in our September show, I believe.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right, just curious.
Yeah, she used to work with our board.
Nice lady. I
Yeah.
miss her.
Very talented.
Mm.
And what's your question?
Oh.
No.
Have you guys had a chamber video done and are you interested in that?
I don't think we've had one done. I feel like I checked their YouTube the other day, and watched, like, they did a recent one with the Andrea in there, and I think that was about stormy weather. Of course, we'd be interested for any free marketing. So maybe
Okay.
there, yeah.
Hmm.
I think if I have any. It's pretty straight over tackle, so. Have any? Big questions?
Do you guys, what kind of advertising do you guys do for these programs?
We do a lot. So we, I feel like a lot of media and news comes from online. So we do a lot of online promotion, and it's also good for our budget because a lot of that is free. We do all the social media and the online calendars and Coast Radio and Chambers event page and everything there. And that's primarily, but we also do a postcard that goes out to our like 500 people that subscribe to our postcard, which is the exhibition card that goes out every time we have a new show, and then brochure, and then newspaper. And we do this Preview magazine, which is a regional arts magazine too.
Okay, great.
And we work with KMUN. We tried to get rid of the postcards and everybody loved them. so we
Yeah.
couldn't.
They're
Right.
nice postcards.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
Who's running your Facebook and Instagram? You are?
I am, but I also have two workers, Isabella and Lucy, and Lucy's our intern and she's a marketing major. So I like to let them, when they're around, like, put their little spin on things. And yeah.
And when we interviewed Isabella, she said she was it meant that you grew up with social media,
Oh,
unlike me.
yes.
I like that you guys included some pictures.
Yes.
See, that Lost in Blue show was so good. Did anybody see it? No? Yes, no? Okay. It was striking. Good job.
Yeah, I do like the inclusion of visuals of
Mhm.
things, just as a,
And we have summer art camp coming up, which is
Oh, yeah.
the shoulder season, of
Yeah.
course, but we have over 80 children registered already.
80.
What was that?
The church.
Sure.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was gonna say, you can't fit 80 kids in that little room.
No, that'd be crazy.
Have you guys thought, this is crazy, but this has nothing to do with this. Have you guys thought about having a bigger open sign for your window to counteract Tom and Lori's closed sign on the other side?
We'll need to, and we're thinking too about getting our sign, that blue sign that's outside,
Mhm.
get something a little more rustic. You know how Roshan did the library sign?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. My dream is to get something a little cuter and more Canon beachy out there. So yeah, we'll have to get a bigger open sign because Tom and Lori are going to start to be closed on Fridays in the winter.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah, it's gonna be rough.
Yeah, it's not gonna be easy. But yeah, that's a key time for you. I'm always surprised that they say that's their least favorite, their least busy day. like, wow, that's not the case for me, but I
Right.
have a whole different market, but,
Mhm.
yeah.
This Sunday was certainly busy.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
anything else? Well, thank you for your concise application and your time this morning. I appreciate that. And we'll let you know if we have any other questions pop up, but I think we should be in good shape.
Well, we're just glad we found you.
I know. I did the same thing. I went to the wrong
I went
place.
to the chamber.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Worcester.
Is Jenny out there? Yeah, that's the one. Jenny and Patrick out there.
Didn't say that last year, you guys did take a small break, but.
They have a
Oh.
break at 10:45.
I know.
She built a break in.
I know, I was gonna cut it.
Are they not out there?
Somebody's out there.
Just a cut.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Thank you, Trevor.
Get used to that.
Yeah, it's tight.
It's a tight spot.
It is. Get cozy.
Good morning. Well, thank you for joining us again. We appreciate that and your thorough application. We are looking, last year we granted $49,167. This year you were requesting $50,400. And just kind of want to get your thoughts on how last year went and how you perceive this year going. Any things that
Okay,
worked or improvements or additions?
I have a little presentation here. Let me
Okay.
do that.
Okay. Great.
We should have expected that from theater people.
Yes.
So hello, I'm Patrick and this is Jenny. And together, along with our board of directors, we've been managing the Coaster Theater since 2013. I'm the executive director and Jenny's our marketing director. Coaster Theater is a historic building. It's over 100 years old. Our building was originally the Waves roller skating rink. It's been a performance space since the late 1960s, once featuring an upstart band called Paul Revere and the Raiders. In the early 1970s, it was developed along with the rest of Cannon Beach Village and became the Coaster Theater. And in 2022, we celebrated our 50th anniversary. Coaster Theater Playhouse provides plays, musicals, concerts, special events, and theater programs for children. Our season usually consists of 6 to 7 main stage shows, 2 to 3 kids shows, and several special events featuring bands and entertainers from Portland and beyond. Last year, we received $49,167, and this year we are asking for funding in the amount of $50,400. These funds are split between marketing and special events. We market to audiences over 50 miles away through various publications, including Cannon Beach Magazine, Skies America, Broadway Across America, Our Coast Magazine, and Oregon Coast Visitors Association. The special events we're planning for late 2025 and early 2026 season are: in September, we'll be doing Darcel and Company featuring Poison Waters. October, we'll be doing Lauren Kinnan in concert. In March, we're planning on a Sondheim review by the ladies who brought us Judy and Barbara. In March, we're hoping to have Curtis Salgado. April 26th, George Grove and the Folk Legend Trio. I don't know if you're familiar with them. George Grove was part of the, can you tell me the name of the Kingston Trio? He for years and years and years. And the other guys were one was part of the doo-wop group, the Diamonds, and another one was with that same group. So anyways, these 3 old folks have created the Folk Legend Trio. It should be really popular. In May, we hope to have Patrick Lamb, and in June, we hope to have a group called Black Feather, which is an Irish folk Celtic band out of Ireland. Funding from the Tourist and Arts Commission allows the Coaster Theater Playhouse to continue the tradition of providing professional and quality entertainment to our Cannon Beach locals, as well as our touring visitors. And I hope you'll consider our request. And any questions?
Well,
So I noticed going through the numbers that you guys got a big grant this year from, not us, but, for 649,000. Says in here.
Oh, that was the building purchase.
Okay, so
Yes. We received a grant or a gift to purchase our building.
gotcha.
wow.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, we own the building and we own the parking lot behind it. Yeah,
Are you serious?
yeah, that's a big eye roll.
The parking lot came with the building.
Yeah, we didn't have much choice.
Does that mean you have to keep up that parking lot?
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, it's been,
I'm so
I've
sorry.
been around
charging.
and around and around. No, can't do that.
Quit.
No, that's
No,
what I've
really?
been around and around and around with, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and again,
The whole parking lot? The
yeah,
whole-
yeah, I run the whole thing now. And,
That what you were expecting when you took the job? Yes, I run a theater and a parking lot.
and the thing is, we own the lot, but it's a public lot.
Yes.
And for me to make any changes at all, the community is going to be upset. They're going to be up in arms about any changes that I might possibly make. So I went around and around all these possibilities, what we could do, how we could do this. And it's come down to, I just need to make better signage. That's about all I can do. Yeah. So, but yeah, so we own the building, which is a blessing.
Yes.
And we own the lot with it, which is good in a way. I mean, I guess
No, it is. It's just.
trying to find the positive.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. And
Thank you for including. some
Yes.
Visual.
Sure, yeah,
We
Jenny's
appreciate
really good
that.
about that. She creates all of our visuals, and then sends them off to the various publications and people.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've seen our ad in, the Broadway Across America at
Yes.
the Keller Auditorium.
yeah,
And it's always exciting when somebody comes through and they go, oh, I was at Wicked and I saw your ad.
I was
Something
at
like
Wicked.
we look for them when we're there in the programs, but it's great. And then I assume there were a couple of other different grants, but I.
We get the community grant.
Okay.
Which I don't know if we got it last year. I applied this year, so I'm waiting to hear if I got
Okay.
the award. We get the TAF grant, and then we have what I call it the GRAF grant, and he's our angel.
Oh, okay.
He just gives me money to produce the children's program.
Oh, yeah.
I've been doing. He supports that completely. He helps support the building maintenance and things like that. He's
Yeah.
quite a entrepreneur, if that's the right word. He supports the 1015 Theater. He supports Liberty.
Okay.
He's on the board of directors of the Maritime Museum and supports them. He supports like 6 different music programs locally. He supports a after-school program in Kelso. In fact, I made a bridge with Kelso. We brought kids from Kelso out to the coast to see Willy Wonka.
Oh,
And for some of them, they'd never been to the beach before. So
Yeah.
it's a really cool social thing as well.
Yeah, sure. Great. Well,
Did you say, is he on your board?
No,
Oh,
he's
he
on the
is-
board of the Maritime Museum.
Okay, gotcha.
anyone else with any other? Questions?
Has the chamber done a video for you and if not, would you be interested? That's my question. Because the chamber does videos for different things around town and I don't know.
I know they
seen
haven't
them,
done one for us, and I
Okay.
don't think we've been approached for one either.
And I don't
Yes,
even
I
know
am.
what it is.
so- Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, feel free to approach us.
Put you on the list.
There was a while, this is way, way back, I'm ancient history, that someone was doing a documentary here in
Mm.
town and I was approached.
Yeah, I don't know
But
if anything came of
Nothing
that.
came of it, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, they
That's what's
approach
happening.
us every year for grant funding for videos for different events around town. Originally, they kind of were long formatted YouTube videos for big events, but now with social media, they're trying to make smaller snippets
Sure.
and whatnot. So we're just trying to collect, you know, they have
Oh,
certain ones on
yeah.
their list, but yes, if you're interested, we will let them know that.
Great, yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Great, fantastic. Good, well. No one else has anything else? I think
I'm good.
we're good to go. We'll let you know if a question pops up,
Okay,
but
that sounds
otherwise, I think we're in great shape.
Well, I hope you all make it to see Elvis has left the
It's
building.
on my list.
It should be a real hoot.
I volunteer there live for when it's usually Toledo Arts. I'll watch the door. And I did the comedy festival. I was just watching the door and I was walking the comedians and a lot of them are like really well traveled and every single person that came in was like, this is so cool. like,
Yeah, artists actually really,
Yeah.
the artists I bring
Every
out,
time.
they love it. They love the builds and the space.
Yeah.
I usually put them up at the schooners or the waves, so they got a really nice room. And so it's almost a little working vacation for the
Yeah.
artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Well,
oh,
yeah.
living with pride.
Yeah.
Andrew said for Comedy Fest, because the comedians don't, generally, they're on a level
Yeah.
ground to be, elevated and, look up and see the interaction there.
Yeah, you
They're
can
kinda
see the
like-
whole audience
yeah.
with us,
Mhm.
yeah.
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 I think
Good,
that's
yeah,
really cool.
and I really enjoy working with Andrew and the Toledo Arts Company.
Yeah.
We've made a nice partnership.
Mhm.
Great.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Well,
so
yes,
much.
good day.
Okay,
So I'm asking this first little ask of $700.
I know.
So the History Museum, they're actually here.
Oh, they are here.
She's on there, but she just left it on. but she's not
Okay,
there.
fantastic. Thank you.
Only 4 minutes early, that's.
Hey.
Everybody else was in person.
Oh, is Chamber next? Oh, no, CB History.
We're on schedule.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Thank you. Okay, yes, thank you for your time this morning.
I'm sorry for last minute change. I was gonna put on Zoom, but I was like. Yeah. I can still have it up.
Now you're on the video. Well, thanks for joining us, Liz. We have you down for September 11th through 13th this year, 3 days of events.
So due to the timing of our, the
Yes.
grant cycle, we're applying for next year.
Next year, okay.
And if I put the wrong date, that was probably my fault.
Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah,
So,
2026.
Yeah, and we're currently planning for this year's.
Okay.
Last year's
Gotcha.
tax, so it's a bit confusing for us especially.
Okay.
Very confusing times. So yes, so we're currently, this is for next year's cottage tour, and we'll be celebrating our 23rd year, which is amazing. Started 22 years ago with just some women decided that they had already been going out to houses and kind of studying the houses and the design and architecture. So they came up with this idea for a home tour, and it kind of took off. And thanks to TAC funding, many years ago, we've been able to increase our exposure and the attendees. So most of the homes that we feature are historic. We've had to kind of implement a few different houses architecturally wise. But over the years, we've definitely fine-tuned everything, and we really have it down to a tried and true way of doing things. And so it's our biggest fundraising event, and we love it. It takes all year to plan. So by the end of it, we're very tired. But it's one of our favorite events to put on, and it's our main event of the year. So
And I see you're looking at Midtown for the location of the
yes,
2026.
yes. So we usually do a different area every year. This year we're doing Toledo, and next year we're doing Midtown because we haven't done that in many years. So our plan is to hopefully get the Oswald West House on again, since it's located in that area. And there's some great homes over in that location. And so that is the plan. We'll stick to that for sure. So
Have you contacted the guys that have the big rock house? Can never remember if that house has changed hands and they might be willing to open it. And it's cool
is it
inside.
on one
It's
of
right on Hemlock.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look into that.
I'll get their contact information.
You can do
Well,
mine.
Oh, are you in Midtown?
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, we'll be reaching out for sure.
390 square feet.
Yes. We'll
But
have
it's from
that criteria.
1924.
Oh, so it's over over 100 years. Yes, that fits all the criteria we're looking for. So, but yeah, what started as a 1-day event in the beginning has phased into a 3-day event. So we do like a Friday night opening night, which has been very successful. We used to do it differently where it was just homeowners and volunteers, and that didn't really work very well. So we restructured it. And it's been super successful. We've actually brought in more money that way because we do a silent auction. And by having it at the museum, people kind of recognize what the event supports, which I love. We've had a few people say, oh, you should have it here. We like to have it at the museum just because it shows what we're doing, what we plan to do with the, where, we're going, where the museum's headed, and so forth. And people love that. And so we've really kind of already fine-tuned that in just a couple of years. And of course, the tour is, we've had that down to a science, I guess you would say, with how we do the volunteers, homeowners. It really is we have this tried and true recipe, I would say, on how we do it. And I've been the longest running coordinator for the cottage tour. Yeah. I'm pushing some stuff to my colleague, if you're not watching, hi Zoe. She's probably watching. To her, so kind of starting phasing, because I usually do most of it. And so I've been able to kind of go to other home tours and see how they do, how it works for them. We don't take things from them to do it for ourselves. We kind of see like, oh, we're actually doing things amazing. Like we do really well for a small town, and we bring over 500 people that pay to go to this, which for our tiny town is a lot. And the way we manage it with how the houses, people go in the houses is very well. We letter the houses so they can go in any order, which makes it very nice for people going on, for our greeters that are in the houses. So it's just, it's an event that, yes, it's a lot of work, but the end result, people enjoy it. And if you've ever gone on, which I'm sure most of you have, it's a lot of fun. We've also added our out on the town experience to include the local businesses. So people are prompted to go and support the local businesses. So you get like an insert in your map where you get discounts. So it could be like 10% off, 25% off, buy one, get one free. And it entices people to go visit these businesses during tour weekend. So it's the whole weekend, and people have had great feedback from it. And so far in the couple of years that we've done that. So yes, it's a fundraiser, but we believe in, like, we're a community. This is a community event. And so we believe in having it be about the entire community. We all kind of, work together. And so we also feature nonprofit booths as well on the tour to educate people about what else is going on in our community. And it doesn't take away from the tour or the experience or the money we bring in. It actually enhances it. So, and that's kind of like my motto is like, help each other out. So I'm all about that.
On the Sunday, is that the tea? I'm trying
So
to
we're
think.
doing a little bit
Okay.
differently this year. So we used to use the chamber hall, but it was just got to be too much for us because we were hauling like all of our tea and it was just, we were exhausted, never set up in time. It was just like not good for us. So last year we decided to have a workshop style event at the museum and do it in 2 different time slots. So it's a little bit pared down, but it was still the same experience. And that worked really well for us. So we're going to do that again this year, because also we can have the museum open. Last year we had no coverage to have the museum open. So people were trying to come by, they wanted to come check out the museum because they were too busy going on tour. So having the museum open, but also doing a workshops based event that kind of still implements the art and history is great. So like this year, for example, we're doing a is very interesting. We're doing a beeswax candle painting workshop. So we're using a local business that's in Seaside that has a bee farm. They produce their own honey and beeswax candles. So she's going to teach a painting your own candles. So we're using the local products. We get all local vendors for food that sponsor us. So it's all, we don't outsource outside of the county, I guess I would say. So Seaside, far away is probably Seaside.
Right.
So, but we try to use all local businesses for sponsorship as far as like the food, the drinks, it's all local to Cannon Beach and Seaside, is about as far as way as it goes. So
Excellent.
we believe, yeah, that, so yeah, we have like the Wine Shack, Pelican, trying to think, Cannon Beach Bakery, Cannon Beach Chocolate Cafe, all those places, Wayfair. So we truly believe in keeping it local.
Mhm.
So
Great. How much are cottage tour tickets?
so we raised them, okay, that's an application, but we're well, this year we raised the prices just slightly, just because, you know,
Yeah.
things have changed and
Exactly.
prices change. So it's 50 for the tour, just for the
Okay.
tour, and then we kind of did it a little bit differently because we got recommended this, but we're on September 1st, it goes up $5.
Yeah.
And then on the day of it goes up another $5 because it is insane in the office. We're trying to set up stuff 2 weeks ahead of time. We're still like, we're just so busy. We can't be answering the phone and doing all the things. So we're hoping that this entices people to buy tickets when in that 2 month time frame, July 1st to September 1st.
And that'll be on your
Um,
save the date card, I
and that'll
assume, or
be-
whatever.
Yes, so
Yeah.
we have so we send out a save the date like in March, April, and then July 1st, we send out another tickets now on sale to all of our members. We have a cottage tour list that has over several thousand people on it that we mail to, and then we send out emails. We have a huge social media presence, which is great. It took us a long time to build that. So those have been great. And then marketing we've used a lot of the same marketing for years. That's worked really well for us. Like Sunset Magazine is.
I was gonna
always a
say.
Anticipate my question, can't you?
I didn't hate Sunset.
The hot buttons.
It's
It's
not a big print
expensive.
Anderson.
No, so for us,
love
what
Sunset.
was it? Last year or the year before, they actually distributed the issue that we were in to it was in all of the American Airlines or Alaska Airlines in the seats, in front of seats. So like our ad was in like 140,000 like flat, whatever you want to call it, which was it was a huge
When was
boost. I think that was 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. I can't remember.
Did you know they were gonna do that?
No, that it was like last minute. They had emailed us. We're like, great news. I was like, oh, okay. So, and then we do get leads from them. So they'll send us leads, every month that we're, I think from like, I can't remember. I think it's like July, August, and then September, they'll send us leads that we can mail stuff to, email, and that we've gained a lot of exposure through that. And so that works. It does. It works really well. It is a small print. It's a quarter size ad. So it is probably for the, the size of it, it's the most expensive, but we get the best return on our investment on that, as well as Seattle Times. That's another great one. We get print and digital, and they do a sponsored story on us. And we get a lot of people from King. Yeah, it's great. They're the best to work with. If you're ever looking for advertising, 100%. They're
Yeah.
the nicest and the best to work with. Oh yeah.
I used to work with them. and They were always very good.
Oh gosh, yeah, they do a whole Zoom. We do like a Zoom talk, and they, get to know us, and it's great. So they really get to know our organization, the tour itself, and it's just been great. So
What
now-
is PDX Monthly?
Portland Monthly is it's a digital, so we do digital ad, and then they do another sponsored story. So they have I meet with one of their journalists to write a story about the tour itself before the tour happens.
Is it
So-
digital only, or do they do
just
a hard
digital.
copy? Okay,
Yeah,
they-
so the only print we really do is Sunset Magazine, Seattle Times, and I think Coast Weekend. And mostly everything is digital, or we've done some radio, we've done a mix of radio as well, and it all works really well. All that blended together. And then social media, we do social media. Seattle Times does sponsored social media as well as Portland Monthly for us. So they all, and we do our own. So we got like, I think 10,000, we almost have 11,000 followers, which is pretty, we get a good exposure from that, so.
So I'm happy to see that it's 4,400 instead of 5,000.
Yes, so they actually gave us a nonprofit discount.
Okay.
Yes, so yay us, yay for being nonprofit for something.
Exactly, finally.
Take the 10%.
Yes. I was like, thank you. So that is actually a little bit better than 5,000.
So you said 500 attendees.
Yeah, it increases over the year, so
Okay.
I think, even last year, I think we had, which I'm getting ready to do the final report for this year, is over 600.
Okay.
So it increases year by year, little by little. We have a lot of the same returning attendees from,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
since I've started here, I've seen a lot of the same people come. So we got a lot of returning
So do you have
attendees.
to put limits on that at all, or is it just?
For the
Okay.
tour itself, the Sunday event, we do cap it, of course, but no, Saturday, not at all. So
Because you can start at any point.
yes, you can start at any point. We do recommend, our volunteers have been trained to like recommend like going like elsewhere, like in the tour, and then obviously doing that out on the town helps. So we
Mhm.
try to include other things during the tour to offset foot traffic into the houses all at once, and it's worked really well. So we've done like lectures at the museum that are free, that are included, and we do like wine tasting at the museum with the wine shack. So it's kind of all helps offset the foot traffic. So we implement little things every year to make it even
Mhm.
better.
Did
So
you have shuttles going?
we did on the 20th year, and then this year we are going to again, because we're in Tolovana and we're like all of
Spread out,
Tolovana.
yeah.
And it's too, with the type of attendees we have, which the
Yeah.
demographic is predominantly older. We have,
Are you ready?
yes, we've acquired a shuttle through Onward Adventures. I can't remember the name. They're out of she's out of Seaside, so,
Okay.
I don't know that we'll implement it every year. I think it depends on the location. So like Midtown is, we might, just because if we get the Oswald West House, the way.
Yeah.
The Oswald, that's very hard to get to.
Yes.
We got a complaint a few times about that, like, how do you, it's so difficult to get there because it's on a dead end street,
Yeah.
so.
Right.
But, yeah, so we kind of gauge it on the houses that we have, and, of course, they're private, so we can't,
Yeah.
there's no wheelchair accessibility, so we do let attendees know that beforehand, that they're,
Not
these are
much you
private
can-
homes.
Not much you can do
We
about
do not
that.
have wheelchair
Yeah.
accessibility, sorry,
On
so go at your,
ADA.
yes, go at your own risk.
So when we get your final,
Yes, I'm
you'll
submitting that.
be able to tell us again, how many people you're getting for the 400, the 4,400, et cetera.
Yes.
Just to see that, so what you've always said in the past, it's always been me. You must have really missed me on the year I missed. The question about, I know, why do we still have to do Sunset Magazine? I know. They kicked me off then.
Yes, I usually, each, marketing agency does send a thing afterward, like they send, especially the digital ones, they'll send like a tracking thing of like how much it reached and who clicked on what. As far as Sunset Magazine, I think it's a different, I'll have to gauge.
But you get.
I get all of
names
that.
And, I mean,
Yes.
any one of those cards that comes back to you, you get an ad and you can
Yes.
say, this year we got an additional 25 or.
Yes, and that's how we track,
More.
because ticket sales are only through the museum, so it's not through
Mhm.
any other channel, so we can explicitly track where they came from, how they heard about us, if they're staying in Cannon Beach, or where they're staying, and that's helped us really well. I think having it anywhere else would be too, can track it. 'Cause there's
Okay.
two of us doing it all.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Okay, I'll wait for your final, just.
Yeah.
When can we back off the Sunset?
In Sunset Magazine's defense, this is the only, before I moved here about 6 years ago, this is the only event I heard of before I moved here, when I lived in LA. Like,
Oh,
So-
that makes sense to me.
yeah,
That makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, and they did have an article about us a few years ago. We use it in our marketing now. They called this event, Cottage Tour, the best fall event in Cannon Beach. So I was like, we use it every time.
Me too.
So I'm taking advantage of that. So
There you go.
that's cool. I didn't know that. Thank you
Yeah,
for that
yeah.
feedback.
I was like, by the way, I still have never gone. Like,
Oh, well, I was gonna say, yeah, if anybody ever wants to come, just let us know and we get you tickets. We'd love for you to experience it. And yeah, next year I'll get you. I'm writing that down.
And if you haven't done it, it's super fun.
It's always hits like a weird time for me for some reason. I don't
Second
know.
weekend in September.
Yeah.
Is,
I'm like, I can't do that.
we've had a few people, attendees in the past saying, why can't you just have it on Labor Day weekend? I'm like, we can't.
Oh,
There's
no.
funding. We can't. I explain it and they still get mad. And I'm like, there's nothing I can do. It's like one person.
Yeah.
What can you do?
But people, I mean, this group, Greg has complained about, this is not the off season. It's like, I know, we bring that up every year. It's like,
I know.
technically, it's not the off season, but you've gotta have weather.
Right
Yeah.
on.
And even
It's
then, you
hard.
could still
It's
end
on
up
the
in a
cusp.
downpour.
No, and we've had it where it's been, down
Yeah.
for, like, last year was great. Last year was the first year I will say we had 0 complaints about nothing. Nobody complained about nothing.
Wow.
Like, and we usually get like one person complaining about the weather or, I don't know, a home
Yeah.
smelled like candles. We did it some,
It's really, you went into someone's personal home and you didn't like the way it smelled?
yes, we had a complaint, like the candle's too strong. And so that last year was the first year, I was like, I was waiting for a phone call.
Yeah,
Got no phone calls.
Nothing.
I was like, okay, yeah, we're
I
good.
cannot believe somebody, I mean, I can't believe that.
Yeah. Oh,
Candle's too strong.
People say the weirdest things, so, even at the museum.
The chamber has the history of the Cannon Beach History Center and Museum on their possible video list this
Yes.
year.
Yes, we had talked a little bit about it.
Okay.
So, one of their thoughts was we're actually redesigning our permanent exhibit
Okay.
entirely. And so we have funding for like the first portion, which is our Native American portion of the redesign. So we have that fully funded by grants, which is amazing. So that's slated to be done in October.
Okay.
The rest of it's not gonna be done for, well, I haven't even gone for funding yet. so,
Yeah.
But yes, we
Through there.
definitely are always interested
Okay.
in,
And I assume
videos.
if you, we were trying to think if, I thought they had done a cottage tour video,
did.
maybe like
How
4
long ago?
years.
has it been like 4 or 5 years
Yeah.
ago? And so we've changed the name of the tour multiple times. It's gone from like cottage tour, cottage and garden tour. And so I've just gone back to Cannon Beach Cottage Tour so people get
Okay.
to know that, oh, Cannon Beach.
Brandon?
And so, yeah, we branded it that way. And so I think it was Cottage and Garden Tour is the video
Is
that
the
they had.
last video.
And that's the last video
Okay.
we had. We do work with Randall Lee's Flooring randomly.
Yeah.
They have a marketing person who's on our
He's
board.
pretty good.
Jameson, yes, he's done some videos for us
Yeah.
already. He did a video of the cottage tour last year that was like a 15-30 second one. It's just glimpses
Yeah.
of the houses. So he's done some stuff for us as well, but we take.
Okay, you're
we'll
always,
take all of it.
okay.
We, the more the better.
I wonder if it's possible to do, well, you said October. I wonder if it's possible to get some, well, if you already have video, I was gonna say combining it with, we're redoing our exhibit. And we also do the cottage tour, or if it should just be one or the other, maybe it should
Probably
be.
one or the other. I think.
Yeah, it probably
No,
doesn't cross
It's
over.
confusing to.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did tell him, I said, the redesign isn't gonna be done for several years, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to you if you wanna do cottage tour. We can do the redesign, but it's not, you can only do a
Okay.
portion of it, like the Native American
Yeah.
portions. Cause we're working with the Clats of Nehalem to
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
do that, which is super exciting, so, yeah. Very excited, it's definitely needed, if you've been in lately, it's like, it's time.
Yeah.
Over 20 years old, so, but we'll take, the more advertising, the better for us, we wanna increase our visibility.
Great.
We get that question, we get that comment a lot, I've been coming to Cannon Beach for 30 years, and I've never heard of you guys, I'm like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that in my store. How long have you guys been here? 31 years. It's like, well, I've never been here before. I've
Yeah.
been going to the glass shop. I didn't know you guys were here. It's like, really? We're.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I know, I tell people all the time, yeah.
Whatever.
My goodness, but, oh my goodness, that's all I had.
Okay.
I think I took way too much time.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any other questions? Okay, well, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Here. Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Is it coming up? It's like textile.
Herpes off.
Okay, we're unmuted.
Unmuted report.
Well, Jim, Alan, welcome. Not your first rodeo. I think we'll start with the Fat Tire Bike Festival or Fat Bike Tire Festival.
Everybody wants to call it fat tire. 'cause
I
that's what
do.
Here.
Fat, yes.
Yeah, fat
Fat bike. And I see that we have May 15th through the 17th, a 3-day event.
Yes.
Last year you received $16,583 and you're requesting $18,900 for this 2026
And we don't have the final, right, for this year?
No, that's
Okay.
next on the project list.
Okay.
Finishing sandcastles. is first on the project.
Okay, so final to come.
Yeah.
Well, I will turn it over to you guys.
Want to give them a recap of this last year?
Yeah, so this year was wonderfully successful. We saw more than double the amount of attendees we had from last year. We went from about 32, I want to say, to almost 60, which was awesome. We made a couple of changes to how we did things this year. We included a registration that included a t-shirt if they wanted to pre-order the t-shirt. We had sold just a small run of t-shirts in 2024. They sold so quickly that one of our event organizers sold the shirt off of her husband's back. So in fact, wanted one, so we figured that was probably a good thing to pursue. And so we added that registration. We had more of the registrations with the t-shirt included than we did in the others. And then we made up for that once the event started with people who bought them anyway. We also printed off a small run of posters to kind of test the waters with that. Then we sold a lot of those. Part of the change also was last year we did kind of a passport, almost like an Amazing Race type scavenger hunt that brought exposure to the small businesses in town. There were different tasks that our attendees had to complete outside of like Public Coast, Fetch, Cannon Beach was the two that are off the top of my head. This year, we made the change and we opted to do a mix of the public art walking tour and the historic sites walking tour. There were a couple of reasons that we did that. One being that it took the burden off of our small businesses while also allowing that exposure to remain. And the other was just that we got some feedback from some of the business owners that it was just a lot for them to work with. And unfortunately, there were some problem attendees. And so we just decided to because we were a little rude, but we decided to switch that up. So yeah, it was a really successful event. The weather was amazing. We did our annual ride to Hog Point and back. We had attendees coming from places further than we've ever had. There was a guy from Reno. We had some people from South Carolina. But the main thing that I wanted to point out is that we had more attendees staying longer than we've had in the past as well. We had some attendees who were staying through the weekend. So, they were showing up on Thursday, event starts on Friday, and they're not leaving until Tuesday. So that's definitely something that we're going to try and encourage again. This year, or excuse me, next year, one of the main changes that we're looking to make is that for the past few years on Sunday, the last day of the event, was a guided ride at Clutchie Creek Trail. This year and last year, only one person showed up. So we're going to work with state parks to try and get a guided ride up Ecola State Park Road. And we've got more e-bike attendees every single year than the year previously. And so we thought that would be a good opportunity for the e-bike riders because class 2 e-bikes, the ones with the throttles rather than just pedal assist, are not allowed on the Clutchie Creek Trail. So there was a whole segment of our attendees who were kind of left out of that ride if they wanted to stick around. The other thing that we're going to try and incorporate for next year to encourage people to stay longer is that we're going to sell additional experiences with the registration process. One of the things that we are looking at is a food and beverage tour. That was actually kind of inspired by a recent trip I took to Puerto Vallarta, where there's a company that did a bicycle taco stand tour around the city. And so it gave me an opportunity to kind of learn where everything was in the city. And I would like to translate that to Cannon Beach. It wouldn't be as expansive as the one I took in Mexico, just because our town isn't as big. But we'd like to get one of our breweries, a restaurant, maybe bodega, tap room, Susie Scoops for ice cream. You know, there's a lot of possibilities there. So we're really looking forward to continuing to see this event grow. The word is getting out there. It's the only event of its kind on the coast. People really seem to enjoy just coming out for a more casual cycling festival rather than a race or you know, a triathlon. I was talking to Daniela Crowder, one of the Oregon Rides and Events owners, and she said it's a different crowd that comes out here compared to who we see at Mountain Bike Oregon. They're just people who really just like to ride and have no pressure to win anything. It's a great experience. So.
Yeah.
Great.
What do you typically charge for your registrations?
So registration this year was bumped up to $40, but we raised it with the t-shirts. It was like $55, $60 right off the top of my head.
Donnie did your poster last year, is that right?
He did our poster last year,
Okay.
and then he gave us permission to take different elements of that poster for any future.
I think I should keep that poster. That's a
Yeah,
good
it was
poster.
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, we so.
It's my favorite poster.
Yeah.
The poster from last year was that photo of, you know, haystack with the bike in front of it. And then he kind of just cut out just the bike tire with the
Okay.
logo underneath. And that's our new logo,
Logo.
not just the poster. It's updated the logo as well. We actually also had Sea Legs Media come out and do an updated video for the event this year, which I'm looking forward to seeing the final touches on. And that was part of our other app funded project. So yeah, it was really cool.
Great. And what do you attribute to the higher registration? Just getting back out of COVID, combination of other, I mean,
Yes,
more exposure?
definitely getting out of COVID. A lot of our attendees are repeat attendees, so they're telling their friends through
Okay.
word of mouth. Daniela and Elliot with Oregon Rides and Events have a very extensive network through their different events that they do. Their marketing efforts are outstanding. They've come back and told us that they're seeing hit after hit after hit. So
Okay.
they do a big marketing push through their newsletter and their Facebook pages. So,
Okay.
So on there, so they're getting 11,500 to run the event. On the 5,250 for the advertising, does any of that go to them, or are they doing their own marketing and this is our marketing?
that is,
They help coordinate all of our marketing.
Yes.
So.
Who
we
gets that
support-
5,250?
that's going towards like the event merchandise and then like anytime they do a social media post, they boost it.
They oversee the
They
management,
oversee-
yeah.
And like the print ads and things like that.
And we support that through our CMO efforts.
Where are these, where are the people based out of?
Newport.
Newport.
Okay, it's the coast.
I'm just trying to figure out how much money they get from that 5,250 outside of the 11,500 that they're getting to run the event.
It's pretty detailed. I'm
Okay.
pretty obvious. Without looking at the details here, they account for all of that through the marketing efforts. I don't think they take any management fees for that.
I'm not
But,
seeing what you're saying. How, what do you mean they're not getting management fees for that?
That their event logistics and management is the fee they get paid. They would account for the marketing efforts.
In that fee. So this is all coming to the chamber for these paid things, for the merch and all the other advertising that we're doing.
Yes.
They're not getting any money for the advertising. They do their own coordinating. Okay, all right. Got it. Cause that's a chunk of change and is this a fundraiser for us? So we're making about $2,000. You guys are making, well, we, right? Oh, God, I'm wearing too many hats. Yeah. You're making about $2,000, but part of it is because of their fee, which I don't mind if they part of it has always been, I want them to grow the event more and have it be less weather dependent if possible.
Yeah, we had actually originally had it scheduled for the weekend after, but then realized that is also Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, that would not be
So
good.
we
Yeah.
did move it to the weekend
Yeah.
before. A big reason being we, make this huge ride to Hug Point and back. We can't do that if weaving in and out of.
Yeah.
No, and you would, I mean, we wouldn't. want
But
to
also, yeah,
do an
there's just no
event on a
capacity.
holiday
Yeah,
weekend. No.
Absolutely not. I will say, I realized I didn't put in the total projected event income without TAC. Our registration total was, for this year, was 2,976.61. That was just the,
That's
that was
what
just the
it is.
registration. No, I,
This is your budget.
yes,
Yeah,
So-
not the final, so I don't.
No, no.
Okay.
But I would say total projected event income without TAC would be about $3,000, not including the merchandise.
Wait, is the hire the event director to run it? Is that for this coming
That's
year?
Daniela.
What?
Yeah.
That's Daniela.
Oh, the Newport person.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
And it's not just, Daniela and Elliot that organize events. We've been working with them for.
Well, since it started,
Since
really.
the beginning.
Yeah.
They also have a full crew that they bring down to help facilitate this too, so it's not just two people overseeing all of that. They have people at different locations for those rides, and their crew really helps facilitate the whole event.
They're in the community, so they have a lit, they've got their lists and people that they work with, so they provide a lot of knowledge. In addition, and hopefully growing the attendees. It'd be nice to get up to 100.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
wasn't it like 56 or something this
Yeah.
year? Yes. It just seems like the numbers would be higher if,
Yeah,
if these people are so connected with like bike, whatever.
I'm with you.
Like,
I think.
I mean, I know it's still starting, but,
Yeah.
it's just pretty low numbers.
I will reiterate, it did double from last year, so.
Yeah, it was like, what,
It was like
34?
30.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was the
Crappy
high
weather.
before that? I don't remember.
I'm
was
not
what?
sure. That was before
Yeah, you were,
my time at
The what?
chamber.
I'm sorry.
what was the highest attendee total prior
Oh,
is what I was trying to remember.
I don't feel like it's gone above 60.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
That's what yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see it. I
Seemed
would
like
love
it
to,
was
to
maybe
push them to
52.
get it to be more. 100 people would be certainly a goal.
I agree. That's the number that gets thrown out every year.
Yeah.
From Elliot. He says, I think we're gonna get 100 this
Yeah,
year." So-
well, put your money where your mouth is, dude. Let's
Right.
do this.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
I-
Why do you feel like the numbers are not? I mean, I know it's doubled, but 1 to 2 is double 2, so.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just that word of mouth and
Yeah.
we're constantly, adjusting parts of the event to appeal to more people.
Yeah.
The e-bike industry is still the fastest growing segment of the
Yeah.
Spalding community. And we're seeing more and more e-bikes every year and less what they call acoustic bikes. So, yes, yeah.
I guess I own an acoustic bike.
Yeah, so it's just,
That's like,
Yeah.
it's better anyways.
right, so,
Yeah.
it's because of how, I guess, casual would be the word I would use, the event is, where it's not a race or a competition of any kind. The e-bike users come out, there are people who have, mobility challenges who are on these pedal assist e-bikes who are like, finally something I can do.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a segment of the population we try and reach rather than just the cycling, the cycling areas. So,
I agree.
No, but piggyback on the accessibility
yes.
Yeah.
stuff, for sure.
And it's still, because it's outside, it's still kind of weather dependent, but
Yes.
gosh, you'd think Oregonians would be over that.
It was pretty nice last year, right?
It was,
Last
yeah,
year, the
The
year
year
before
before
it
was,
bad.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
there were a couple of
Okay.
squalls on the day of the long ride. but
Yeah.
for the most part, we were still out there having a good time. It didn't stop
Yeah.
the beach party afterwards or anything like that.
And do you guys partner up with any, bike companies
That
that?
is, thank you for asking, because I forgot to mention, we are gonna try and get a sponsorship with Rad Power Bikes to help sponsor the event,
It's like the biggest one.
which would then there's a Rad Power Bike sales
out of
rep who
Seattle.
lives here. It has a home here in Cannon Beach, and we tried to reach out to him several times without success. So we're gonna try again, but yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely want to get a
They
sponsorship.
can't do anything on the beach, right? There's no advertising on the beach.
No advertising on the beach, but we would have
Yeah,
a
the chamber.
tent set up at the chamber.
Yeah.
With, the goal was to try and get him here with a couple of demo bikes as
Mhm.
well, so we've got some options there. that
Yeah.
Will hopefully,
Do they have a contact with him?
they do, they got the contact information for him, but he just was not responsive this year, so I'm not really sure why.
Reaching out, you were reaching out or they were reaching out?
Daniela was reaching
Oh,
out.
she was, oh, okay, okay.
Okay, any other questions on Beach Fat Bike Festival?
I would still call it
I'm
Fat
still
Tire.
thinking Fat Tire.
Fat Bike. God, you guys.
It'll really be confusing with Fat Tire.
Well, I lived,
Oh, God.
I lived up the street from Fat Tire. That is
Yeah.
why.
That bike
It's
festival
in my-
presented by
Fat
Fat
Tire.
Tire.
Right, yeah.
Get it.
Yeah, that was my bike shop in Portland. Okay,
Are they in Portland? Isn't Fat Tire Portland?
Fat Tire's the bike shop, then the beer was named the
Yes.
brewery.
But isn't it a Portland brewery?
No, it's in
Oh, it's
Colorado.
not. Oh, never mind then.
Yeah.
Sorry. Got all excited.
Can't still
It'll be cool to get
sponsor.
him out here, yeah.
Yeah, it would be, it would be. Okay, shall we move on to video? Okay. Funding last year was 18,000. This year you're requesting 20,750. And we have you down as proposed videos on accessibility. We talked to Liz earlier about the history of Cannon Beach Center one, stormy weather hiking trails of Oswald West State Park, and then 3 earmarked spots.
So why Oswald West?
We previously did a video of Colorado State Park for the hiking trail, so we have that already. The loop trail that's at Indian Beach. And we thought if we're gonna do something different, I mean, we kicked around maybe going back there and doing different trail there, but then we thought, why don't we do something from Oswald West, because that's the next state park, so we could incorporate that, and then we'd have both ends of town. The idea is to bring back, just totally blanked his name.
Adam Sawyer.
Adam Sawyer. There's also another gentleman that does hiking videos in the area that we could reach out to. But then we're gonna add to that hiking trail, because one of the most requested things in the visitor center is, where do I go take a hike?
Mhm.
And so we have videos for those. It's a great opportunity to show them what they're actually gonna be doing.
My first reaction was it just takes them to Manzanita. But that's okay. I can see why.
Well, we're hoping they're gonna come stay here and then.
Well, I know, that's why it's like, it's a lot of good restaurants down there. Ah, okay. And I have a question about the accessibility video, since all we're going to have is Moby mats for the next foreseeable future. Do we want to do that this year?
That's a good question, but is putting out once we have the accessibility, and you can have something to add, I can
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
We want to promote that we have them.
Yeah.
And so, having a video, it could be shorter or longer. There might be more accessibility options that we can include.
Well, let's not forget that we also have partnered with Wheel of the World. And so we
That's
can
true.
highlight Wheel of the World.
That's
as
true.
well.
Maybe, I mean, I'm just saying, maybe you'd want to pull back and hold some of that for when there's an actual wheelchair.
Mm.
I'm not saying that the Moby mats and Wheel of the World are not worth promoting. I agree that once we have the Moby mats, promoting them is not promoting them would be dumb. But I'm not sure you want to spend $3,500 on something that's like, that's part of the way there.
Yeah.
I don't, just throwing that out there.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that happened at Sandcastles, we had
Jeff Halliday with David's chair.
Okay,
You had a tent set up at the Gower Street entrance, and it was half an hour of time slots with their all-terrain track chairs. She saw quite a bit of use out of it. I actually ran across somebody who was using it, and I stopped them. I was in my gator, and I was like, "Hey, is that the David's chair? Is it okay if I?" She was getting ready to take it back. I was like, "Can I ask you some questions?" And she said, I'm from Utah. I'm a wheelchair user and she's maybe early 20s. And she said, I came to the coast with my family, assuming I was going to be left out of a lot of things because that's just what I'm used to.
Yeah.
And so she just had a smile on her face the whole time she got to be down at the beach. So
Cool. Can hardly wait till we have one.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna follow up with them and see what we can do to help with more accessibility, so. You know, fingers crossed, we can add to that accessibility video.
Yeah.
But, you know, it might be better to hold off.
Doesn't mean that you can't do a little one, but I'm just thinking, you know, until there's a wheelchair, and that's something we have to wait for city hall to be done. What was the other thing I was gonna ask about that? Are the one that's out yet?
they're supposed to be out this week. We're waiting on an exact date from Public Works,
Okay.
but Kelly with HRF said that Public Works has got a lot on their
Yeah.
work order right now. So we're anxiously awaiting. They really want to get those out.
We've got the press release in works.
Yep.
Just waiting for the,
She said they have moved them off the pallet. They're ready to go out there. It's just finding a day to do it. Summer is ticking away, so hopefully sooner rather than later.
In our previous interviews, we did ask about who would be interested in videos and not one person
no,
declined.
All
So
said,
Said not one person. No, no.
declined.
No, that's
they all wanted them.
Gallery Group, Cannon Beats Arts, Coaster
Get Lit.
Theater, Cottage Tour. Of course, we haven't talked
Get
to
lit.
Get
Get
Lit,
Lit.
sorry.
Spring unveiling.
Yeah, all of those, one of one.
Thank you for
The,
asking.
the problem is, nobody knew about them. Which
and this was.
is a
been
problem.
This has been an ongoing, pushing.
Mhm.
If you recall last year when I came and presented, that's
Mhm.
exactly what I presented.
Mhm.
What I would rather see happen is for, if they are interested in having a video, put it into their budget. And then we can coordinate that through ours. So that,
Rather than stripping
than-
this,
rather than us asking for an unknown video,
gotcha.
if they know what they want, we can just say, this is how much it'll be. And then we can coordinate that with our, because we have 2 video companies now that we work with.
Okay.
So we can then coordinate those.
So you'd rather it come from their end where we're taking this out of that equation, putting it into their grant.
we-
That's
Because-
gonna happen next year, not
Because,
this year.
well, yeah, and that's why I
Yeah.
Yeah,
presented it last year. as
Yeah.
An idea, because we ask for the money, we get the funding, and then we go to try and find who wants a video.
yeah,
And that makes it a little more difficult. I'm super happy to hear
Yeah.
that everybody wants a video,
Mhm.
because now we know we can fill those.
You can have a
Mhm.
list, yeah.
So, yeah, you can, or just send it to me and I'll write it down so that we can follow up with them.
And I noticed in here, I didn't see what videos you did last year, but
Yeah.
So-
So here's the situation was last year is Sierra, our marketing manager, was running this TAC.
Mhm.
And she's left our organization and I have a list on my server, but I've been working on
Mhm.
Sandcastle and everything leading up to it. So now that we're past Sandcastle, I'll dive into that, get that.
in the final. Well, if it comes directly from them, then they might. And is, you know. I would think the end result would, if it's being started by them,
Mhm.
they would get the end result that they would, each individual organization would want. As far as their video, they could put the parameters around it of,
And yeah, the way that's worked in the past is when we knew somebody that wanted to have a video, we connect our videographer with them and then they
Okay.
collaborate on that. So we're not
okay,
saying, here's the video we're gonna do for you.
yeah,
We want them to be a part of it and tell us the video they want,
okay,
but we just want to have that so that we can share that and focus it on our
on the,
YouTube page and share it as part of Cannon Beach as a whole. But we absolutely want them to have that video so
Okay.
they can share it and showcase
Right.
their event. That's the community partnership that
right.
we've always been trying to build with this program.
okay.
So did deep dive on this. What is the plan to deal with these videos though? Like there's just hardly any views on YouTube. I mean, you have, 2 months ago was Drea's, it's 134 views. Lamp Lighting's 51 views. Sandcastle's 1,000 views, but people come here and do it for free. There's some guy just put it up, Cannon Beach one day ago and he already has 171 views. And then there's like influencers that have like 70,000 views. What's the plan to make people actually look at YouTube? Like we can make all the videos in the world, but nobody, it's useless. It's like, it's taking a video of fourth grade
So in other
pageant.
words, how are you
Yeah.
promoting?
Yeah, there's no views.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if I don't get like 1,000 views in 24 hours, I'm like, oh, I need to like up it up. So there's
Is there, do we have I'm going through the same thing because I just recently put my videos up on YouTube because people are leaving Facebook. And so I'm trying to figure out how to get people there too. I assume that we have an Experience Cannon Beach channel.
Yeah.
Is it on everything? Do we have it on posters? Do we have it on? Just thinking like QR code that'll take you directly to the YouTube page or something like that. I'm thinking of this for my own business, so I don't know.
Yeah, like on your Instagram, do you have a link tree that has the YouTube link in there to the videos?
I don't think so, no.
And that's where I go to, like, if I see a snippet of something and I want to deep dive, because Instagram will only give you,
Yeah.
I don't know, a minute 30 maybe now, I don't know exactly, but then I go into the link tree and I hunt for whatever it is.
What does our Instagram look like since you have your computer?
Oh, here, hold on, let me pull that up. I have the YouTube up.
I mean, I love all the videos that you got, and you've really upped the game with the Instagram account and all that, but trying to navigate or, as you are the larger umbrella, I'd like to be able to dissect that down and hunt to where I need my info.
But again, this was all part of.
Yeah, oh, there is a link tree.
and Marketing committee's
Yeah.
workflow.
There's a link tree, but
And we're as a staff.
It doesn't
now
go to
evaluating
YouTube.
What we have. And
It
that's
doesn't go to
working.
YouTube.
Yeah.
And we're in the process of hiring.
There's
somebody else.
Fill that. position.
Yeah.
So
then
I think that'll be taken
Yeah.
on by
Yeah.
them and the committee.
In the committee.
Yeah.
Well, and it's an ever-changing target. I
Right.
mean, like you said, you're switching things,
Yeah.
you're.
The algorithm changes and you gotta
Yeah.
adjust to it as well.
But I mean, just also the way that people take in that content. I mean, YouTube was the name of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Short form video content became popular and then everyone.
Yeah.
tried to TikTok and Facebook.
Mhm.
YouTube even started YouTube Shorts, and now I didn't even take into consideration people leaving Facebook because of everything that's happening. So yeah, of course, your pivot is gonna be YouTube.
Absolutely. The YouTube. I'm not joining TikTok, so that's an easy one.
Yeah.
You have the bus.
I ain't doing that. So I can be on my phone or the computer. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But I will pivot to YouTube. And actually, my customers are asking, because I spend more time on YouTube than I do on Facebook anymore. And it's like, okay, noted.
I mean, that's the,
Yes,
that's
noted.
the land of tutorial.
and YouTube is the,
Now.
the
Well,
nicest people to their content makers too.
Yes.
They pay back.
But you're right. It's like all
Yeah.
during COVID, it was like, oh, you don't know how to do binding? That's okay. Just search it for it on YouTube. I can't tell you how many people learned how to sew
Oh,
on YouTube
YouTube.
during COVID.
People always ask me where I went to school and I would say the University of YouTube.
Man,
How I learned how to replace a lot of things on my car. It's.
Oh, I've done appliance repair. I mean,
Oh,
I've
yeah.
done all kinds.
My husband is the king of that.
Oh, yeah.
And he watches stuff. all
Oh,
the time.
yeah.
So I think the problem is that like you gotta figure out how to like
We need to
get
get
this on
that.
here. It's useless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
agree.
it's completely useless. It's like, oh, 40.
Well, and I think getting
40
getting
views.
those videos to the the gallery group or the,
Well, that's the secondary-
poster or the, whatever, so that they can then put them on theirs and share them.
So Joe
Also-
was here saying, when they have those videos, like, how can we get them? And it's like, oh man, I don't know how, but I know you can, because I'm just as bad as you are, Joe.
Yeah.
And I put on here, access to videos. I know they all reside in the back end, that when you can sign in as a business on the website, there's a way to find them. I don't know what it is, because I haven't used it,
Yeah.
but I told Joe, I know there's a way, talk to Alan.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how to get there.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, those are up there? And it's like, yeah, and you can take them all down and you can put them on your website or yours or the Cannon Beach Gallery or whatever the heck and share them. And he goes, oh, I didn't know that. So it's like,
So I think we'll take that and figure out not a distribution plan, but a way to make sure that everybody has access to them.
Mhm.
And then we'll send that out to
Okay.
everybody who's part of a video.
Mhm.
Yeah.
because That's absolutely.
You would
Yeah.
get me more views if you were, made it easier to
Right.
access.
Yeah.
I mean, and
And again, you know,
And then
long
share it with the
forms.
link of Experience Cannon Beach on YouTube, so people are like, oh my God, there's all this stuff
Yeah,
out here.
right.
Because then you're just gonna go to the next video, the next video, and the next video.
yeah, and, you know, 3 minutes long, that's great and everything, but most people watch for
Yeah.
15 seconds, like, so.
And that's why we, in the past, we've incorporated shorts.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
Part of that, because we
Yeah.
want to have those pieces that will then drive people to go
Yeah,
watch.
for
the
Mhm.
full-
my
the full
blind
video.
spot.
Okay, well, I think it's an interesting concept about
Get your
starting the process on the other end. I think that's one we'll have some more discussion
Yeah,
with.
and
For
you know,
next
as I think
Yeah.
about it from our perspective, maybe that's us, because in the old. I don't know that the new tech plan going forward is
Yeah.
gonna have the same, where, are you partnering with the chamber was one of the questions
It still is,
previously.
yep.
I think it's gonna be, might be helpful if we put, here's how you can partner with the
Mhm.
chamber.
Mhm.
To help get those, to promote those videos. or
Yeah.
Promote, well, really, all your event
Mm-hmm.
needs.
Yeah,
Then that would be helpful for
We can
them in
add
their
that.
planning process.
I can tell
For sure.
Jennifer that when she
Yeah.
comes back, that
Yeah.
that could be added into the application. That's
yes,
just an extra
Yeah.
thing.
exactly. Exactly. Well, great. Do we have any other questions on that or comments?
The YouTube landing page looks nice.
That's good.
I gotta get out there. And is it Experience Cannon Beach?
Yeah,
Okay, good to
we
know.
only have 636 subscribers.
Yep, I gotta get that up there.
Very small number.
What?
It's a very
A
small.
very small number.
How many people found?
Yeah.
Right.
Kidding.
I mean, if you put in Cannon Beach, it doesn't even pop up,
Nope.
so figure that out.
All the
Sorry,
other
that sounds like a demand.
influencers.
It's like,
stuff.
yeah, and it's like, oh, somebody came here for Father's Day
Yeah.
and he already has like
Yeah.
instant whatever. So,
Yeah. Not the expert on
That's-
algorithm
that's-
getting to
that's
the top.
Yeah.
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 And making sure that we're hitting all the marks.
Do
Yeah,
we have a rack card for this, not the city of Cannon Beach, but Cannon Beach proper, about ways to connect with us? We have the app, our own app. The, you know, a QR code that would take you to YouTube or Facebook or whatever. Do we have any of that kind of a thing? Or could there be a poster in the visitor center that has that?
Of any like sort of wrap part, I did notice that the 2 QR codes I made for our app that we used during Fat Bike Festival are up in our visitor center now, so maybe we just also. include
That would be an easy thing to
Yeah.
do where you're not
Mhm.
printing up stuff. It's a piece of paper that goes through your printer that just can go up immediately.
Yeah.
We could add that
Ways to
the-
connect with
to the
us.
box outside.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
most people are gonna be watching videos too before they come here.
Yes,
Right.
yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we shouldn't
Yeah.
obviously promote and get out ahead of it, but when they're here,
Yeah,
once they look, maybe you'll get fed that, maybe you'll get fed Experience Cannon Beach again.
Yeah.
If you've
Yeah.
gone once.
It's a
So-
very good point. I'm doing that for our vacation plans, just.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna
Salt,
say.
Everything. and
Yeah.
What's that?
Everywhere we go, what do we go?
Yeah.
What do
Yeah,
we do? And
exactly.
at the last vacation I took, did a deep dive on some of these places.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's really important that your stuff, certainly pop up at the beginning of the, yeah,
We found one person we liked before we went to Mexico and watched everything that she
Yeah,
had
yeah.
Yeah.
on the city,
Right.
to the point where when we were there, we
Oh.
were saying, what would our Lord and Savior Ali Small? What's the phrase we kept? saying?
Right.
What our Lord and Savior is.
Well, and it's almost like, how do you, I mean, we
But
talk
hopefully that
about
would be you.
Yeah.
Facebook's diminishing presence, but at the same time, the Cannon Beach pages that are on Facebook get hit
Still
with that
popular.
kind of stuff all the time. So,
You can't ignore Facebook. It's still growing.
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
just that
yeah, the
people are
changes.
leaving,
Yeah.
but Facebook is still growing and you can't
Yeah.
ignore it.
Oh, yeah.
I've ignored it for years.
Yeah.
I've never been on it.
It's working out for you.
Yeah.
But how are we getting those people that are posting a random on I Love Cannon Beach about, I need recommendation?
Well, that's,
How are we filtering that?
that's not these page, that's not our page.
I know.
Okay, just checking.
No, I know. And that's where I'm saying, it seems like that type of stuff should be falling under you guys.
Why
How,
wouldn't we put up a post on I Love Cannon Beach and say, hey, did you know that Cannon Beach has a YouTube channel? And did you know?
Because as long as it doesn't violate their page
As long as it doesn't violate
guidelines, I
the-
think that would be.
I don't
ahead.
know, I forget who, there's the two of them and
Debbie Workman is.
Oh,
one they have,
Workman
and
has
it's
one.
One of them, and I don't know.
I don't know.
I also
the
think
other
the
ones.
name of it is maybe, this is a lot of people calling it Experience Cannon Beach. You can figure out, but
Well,
just
some
my.
of the-
No,
thoughts
I didn't know
taken.
who owned it
Yeah.
at first. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, you're doing a great job, but who's running this thing? And so I had to do a deep dive.
I mean,
But
even-
I'm
oh,
a,
it's a hard word to
I'm a
spell,
marketing
like.
geek and that's my past career. So that's where I was like, I like the play on words, but it doesn't, that brand doesn't brand me to you guys.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's a little bit of a disconnect in that,
Except for it's
but
on our magazine this year. So maybe it's getting.
well,
Yeah.
maybe we're in the,
Yep.
the
It
hump
could
of
be.
rebranding.
Yeah.
You know, through the entire process of the chamber and the DMO work,
Yeah.
it's always a question, what's marketing and branding and what's chamber? And so
Mhm.
that's something we've been
It's always a struggle.
going back and forth with, and we're pushing more into the DMO side of it
Yeah,
because we're trying to reach out.
yeah,
And that's what the whole purpose of that is for.
yeah, for sure. Again, I think constantly changing and adapting, figuring it out.
Story of our lives.
I know,
Yeah.
keeps it interesting. Great. Okay, well, thank you guys for your time. We appreciate it. We'll reach out if any other questions pop up.
Real quick,
Oh, yeah.
One question.
Okay.
With the final reporting, there is not a spreadsheet this year,
Oh,
correct?
that's
It wasn't on the website to
Jennifer.
Jennifer's
With the
Monday's
Conversation
page.
this week.
There used to be the metrics where you
Yeah,
plug in
yeah.
who attended and.
I think we took that off.
All that's on the website's the evaluation.
Yeah.
I just wanted to double check.
Let me look and see.
Get
Sure,
Lit
we
had their final.
Yeah,
Let me look and see what her final looked like.
it looks like it's all the same.
No, it's there. Now. There's their final.
It looks like what, I think it's behind that.
We had that.
Like just a budget on.
I think it might
That
just
doesn't
be
look
your
like the
budget. and-
spreadsheet. that-
No, that, I think that we took that away.
Okay.
And then this is her 50 miles away people,
Great.
non-locals, whatever.
Great. Yeah, I
That's
just wanted to make sure we
ours.
weren't missing any information.
No,
for
and
you guys
that
to-
may have happened as we're trying to go into this more input
Right.
into our own template scenario. So,
We just want to make sure we.
Yeah.
Do what we need.
yeah, exactly.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
If Andrew's out there, you can send him in.
Yeah, thanks.
Probably out.
See the last
Yep.
one?
He's a lot of fun.
Push. I think you push. I know, it's confusing. Very confusing.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, so cozy in here.
Yeah, right?
Oh, it's cozy.
Oh, how are you?
Good. I'm sure you've all had a long morning.
Here. Well, sorry, we're 8 minutes late, but,
Oh, it's okay. All right, so I have, prepared remarks.
Okay.
To begin with, if you.
Go ahead.
If you'll entertain that.
yes.
Thank you all. Where is it Greg and are we missing?
Greg and Tom are not here.
They're just not here,
Okay.
so.
Well, anyway, this includes them as well. Thank you to all of you for your time and the support of this committee. You've made the Cannon Beach Comedy Festival successful in its 5th year. This March, the festival welcomed 10 comedians who traveled from as far away as New York City to perform. We produced 2 sold-out nights at the Coaster Theater. We have sold out Saturday nights in the past, but this was the first year we sold out Friday as well. We achieved these sellouts via our own internal marketing, mostly earned media and organic social media from the comedians themselves. I want to highlight the value of organic media. Let me give you an example. We can pay marketing firms to make videos about Cannon Beach or the Comedy Festival, but the videos from influencers like the comedians far exceed the impact of that paid media. It was my goal this year to avoid paying for any ads to market the festival. And I'm skeptical about a lot of types of ads sometimes. So there are some that are great and there's some that just pass like ships in the night. as you'll see in the budget, we spent only $100 on advertising, and that was basically me getting cold feet at some point in this. And wanting to get to that sellout, and I boosted a post. No, I feel sheepish for doing that. I lost my nerve. I think we could have got there without it.
It worked. Well, both nights sold out.
But I mean, there are times when marketing is necessary.
Yeah.
Comedians post any videos
Oh, yeah.
before or after?
Uh,
After they were here, of course.
well, before, like, as, you know, that's
Leading
a
up.
normal, you know, it's part of their jobs is like, I'm going, because they're going to different cities all the time. It's just, you know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in Cincinnati in April, I'm gonna be in Cannon Beach. And, but we'll get,
That's part of their,
yeah,
I mean,
their own marketing.
doesn't matter how big, it doesn't even matter how big they are. I mean, some of the biggest ones are.
Okay, so let's see, where was I? So the goal of the comedy festival is developing a known and trusted brand, an entity that Portland, folks in Portland to Seattle and beyond are excited about attending every year. Our email list of past attendees is growing, and many of them snapped up tickets this year as soon as dates were announced, even before we shared the performers. So I think they're trusting in our cultivation. That tells me a lot about the ticket holder experience, that the wonder of Cannon Beach, even if it was rainy and gray and super windy, which it was this March, coupled well with these evening shows. Let's see. Circling back to the paid versus organic media, I think the comedy festival is generating something advertising can't buy. Comedians with followings of tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of followers are posting pictures and videos about Cannon Beach. They're talking to their fans while on the beach in videos. They're taking photos of, you know, Ecola State Park, making content all over town. And this year there was even a podcast recorded in the Waves Hotel. So,
Dang, who was that?
that was Ari Kondabolu and Jackie Cation. Let's see. So when comedians produce this kind of content, they're doing something very different, something more valuable than an advertisement can buy. One of the things I'm really proud and thankful for this year is how much we were able to raise for the Coaster Theater in the neighborhood of $2,000. There's the rental fee, which is $1,200, and then we at our bar we sold the Coaster cups at $5 a pop, and we sold loads of them. Like they were like, we had to like get more boxes and get more boxes, and they were like, whoa, how did you sold a ton of those cups? So that was really great. Besides the economic impact, not only to our local nonprofit organizations, I want to highlight the artistic impact of the festival. I'm proud and grateful we're able to celebrate a wide variety of voices and viewpoints from different races and gender, from people aged in their 20s all the way up to their 70s. We welcome comedians from across the region and, you know, the world, performers with names like Hari Kondabolu and Aparna Nancherla. And that's the kind of spirit I hope the Comedy Festival can, you know, exhibit for Cannon Beach at large. You're welcome here, no matter who you are. So while on the surface, the Comedy Festival may seem like a joke, I believe it's something much bigger. So we really appreciate your support.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I thought, again, it was a great success personally in
It's super fun.
attending it. It's always a highlight for us. I mean, for our lovers of all kind, that is a different dimension and I like the timing of March.
Yeah,
Late February, March, when
great.
sometimes it can be very difficult to laugh through the rain.
Or do anything else.
Or do anything else. And you know, after selling both nights out, and we talk about ways to grow this and whatnot. 2 weeks ago, I was out of town. I'm not able to attend the one-off night, but I was gonna ask you about that and maybe how you perceive growth or not growth.
Right, I mean,
or-
so we did, for those of you who don't know, we did a comedy show at the American Legion a couple Fridays ago. It sold really well. That one really kind of fell into our laps, actually.
Yeah.
The comedian, we got on his radar and he's like, I happen to be, I'm doing a thing. I'm in the area. I have this date and this date only. I'll give you a screaming deal. Like I just want to, fill that date. And he has other stuff to do in the region. So, and it came together really quickly. Like that was like a week and a half, 2 weeks before the show. And that was really cool to see that like someone, reached out to us, it's a different thing. Like, I was like, well, I gotta let you know that like the theater is not available.
Right.
This is a different kind of deal.
Right.
But yeah, that was something I was thinking about and I didn't go, I did send an email out to the ticket buyers. That's probably where you saw it. But I didn't go full on like comedy festival presents,
Mhm.
but that's something that I want to consider in the future. Yeah,
I went to it, it was packed.
I know. I was in Colorado.
Oh,
Get to go.
Oh, I don't think I heard about it.
Cause it was like so last minute.
Yeah,
I
it was
like,
last
no.
Maybe.
Cause I was trying to go to everything to
Uh-huh.
be a butt in the chair and I was like, oh, I couldn't find a chair.
Yeah, yeah. And, and I will say sold out, and I know we had this discussion last year, like, oh, can you layer in multiple shows on the same day? You're like, that's kind of what's unique about here is they're not having to do their normal grind.
And I don't, to do double shows
Yeah.
at the coaster, to go from 200 to 400,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
If that's,
doable,
yes.
at this.
And I know a few were turned away
Yeah.
that like walked in that night, so I'm my mind goes, okay, how do you layer in another little, not
Or-
necessarily a show,
Mhm.
but one time we talked about family comedy during the
We
day.
did, this year we did an open mic night on Thursday
That's right.
Mhm.
at the
Hemlock.
Hemlock.
Yeah.
And that totally worked. And
It was
like,
cute.
got the-
Locals
got the-
came and
got the
got up. Tracy did it.
So there's, and I keep thinking about, I haven't figured out the place and we
Yeah.
could do it like a comedy brunch on Sunday to wrap it all up or something
Yeah.
like that. So I'm thinking, but I haven't.
Yeah, I guess
But
I-
gotta check out. Getting me out of bed. The problem.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was just kind of taking your pulse on,
Yeah, no, I'm
what's brewing up
yeah.
there, because I know things are,
thinking.
yeah. But again, I think every year's been different as far as, the
Super fun.
comedy, but always a great time. And I think with those cups, I would assume your sales increased as far as concessions.
No, we gave the concessions away and just.
Oh, and just sold the cups.
That's
See, I never went to the bar.
Yeah.
That's-
The guys did.
That's something we're thinking about, but just from like a organizational standpoint, it's really easy to give that stuff away.
Mm.
And like
Yeah,
selling it becomes permitting issues and
That's
that's,
true.
and the liability
but the
changes
cups,
and.
okay.
But it is something we're considering,
Or like even like t-shirts or, you're selling cups. People might bring the cups back next year, stuff like that. So,
Merchandising is an interesting
but
idea.
merchandising
I have
would be
not-
kind of
I have not-
interesting.
I live here and I buy a new cup every time because I always forget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, the merch stuff, I mean, that's always
I'm-
kind
I'm-
of
I'm not
throwing a
like-
dart
yeah,
out there,
I
but
mean, like, there are people that will like save the posters and get
Yeah.
comedians to
Oh.
autograph the posters
Yeah.
and stuff like that, but.
So you have, I didn't go to the bar either, so, but the people next to me did.
Yeah.
They had the sippy cups
Yeah.
with the wine. There were snacks, you gave away the
Yes.
snacks. Okay.
That's
so
right, I
when they
forgot
had
about
to
that.
get a glass of wine, they had to buy the cup.
Well, no, if you wanted to bring it into the theater, because the theater requires those special cups. And
Yeah.
I tell you what, that night, one of those cups failed, and I was in there scrubbing out
Oh,
of
no.
the yellow carpet, and
no.
it was really sad because the comedians were all gathering at the Driftwood. After
Oh,
I was like, I gotta scrub wine out, trying desperately to get this red wine out of this yellow carpet,
Right.
but we got it, so that's part of the
Okay, so that's what you're doing for Kentucky, because like I said, I didn't go over and see, but they were talking, they all had sippy cups. And every time I go, I'm always sitting next to people and I'm always like, so why are you here? And why are you here? And the ladies next to me, they had rented a house and this was their third year coming. And it's on our calendar. As soon as we get the thing, it goes on our calendar and we go and rent this house and we have a fun. And then
That's
they
great.
came into my shop the weekend after, because I told them, they're like, what do you do? And they're like, we're here.
That's-
Sowers, come on. But they were really fun. They were super fun.
Oh, that's really cool to hear. Cause I don't always get those, I don't get those, I'm running around. and
Yeah, right.
that doesn't, there's one change coming to concessions, and that Tracy said that she's going to be in charge of buying the wine
No
next
kidding.
year, because I bought terrible wine.
Oh.
I bought cheap wine. apparently.
Okay.
I don't. So she made sure to let me know that she'll be.
Tracy in
she'll be
charge. She'll
handling
do
that.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They'll do good for you.
that's okay.
Do you plan on getting like bigger and bigger comedians? I mean, these are huge comedians, but I'm just curious.
I mean,
I saw Hardy Carnival and it's like, oh,
I'm always gonna try.
holy
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah.
Is
Is there like a paywall that like, oh, the first one gets like,
It's so, you go, you write an agent at CAA, and it's their job to get as much out of you as they can. I hate it. They ask for offers rather than putting out numbers. I've learned this from talking to some of the comedians, and some of them, it's great. Some of them will look at their DMs on Instagram or something like that, and you can put something right in front of them. Some of them, they don't, the offers don't get through to them, and whereas they might say, this is a cool, and the word is getting around, and like, this is a cool
Right.
thing. I want to go do this, for less money because it's a cool experience, but it's just getting it past their,
It gets filtered
Right.
out.
is it?
I would bet that would get easier and easier as the years go by, because it starts getting more of a reputation, and then suddenly you've got
I
bigger
love it.
comedians calling you and being like, hey, I'd love to do this
Yeah,
sometime. This sounds like a blast.
And as that, alumni grows, sometimes I can be like, hey, can you put in a word?
Yeah,
See if this person is aware of,
right.
so
Yeah, that's great.
that is the hope. It is a close knit community.
Someday you'll be coming and asking for a Thursday.
Mhm.
You'll be asking for a third day.
That's, well, I mean,
That'd
like.
be great.
yeah,
Sure.
it could be.
That's great.
Do you have anybody in mind for next year? Nobody's booked yet.
So nobody's booked yet. So I'm going through it. Like, I was so plus by last year. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to feel like I have to raise the bar, and that's going to be hard to do.
I had friends in LA texting me going like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Well,
It's a very fun night,
yeah.
Yes.
couple of nights. I went to both.
Yeah.
All to do.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Talk to the people around you.
Yeah.
Ask them, why are you here? What
Yeah.
are you doing? Where are you from?
One time you'll be sitting next to my parents.
Okay. Yeah. Well, those girls were super fun, and rented a house for 3 nights and spent a lot of money in town, so that was good.
Yeah.
Good. Like that. Well,
Great.
Thanks.
I thank you. We'll reach, I don't think we're gonna have other questions, but we.
Okay, so your final in here? I'm
Yes.
sorry, I really should be paying you more attention. Okay,
Just because we're not coming back in front of the group
Oh, yeah.
for these, I thought if you haven't seen them,
I have it in my bag.
Oh, I was gonna
Oh,
ask about that
yeah.
at the end, but
and this
Thank
is,
you.
now Michelle has to take her committees.
hat
Do I
off.
have to
Hat off.
move?
It's easier when the dais is, that's makes it
Fantastic.
official.
This was one of my questions for Friday.
And,
We have complaints.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not gonna be good, so we're gonna have to change. We
I mean,
needed, we needed to review it before it got to print. Because there's people who are left off and they're pissed.
Gotcha.
I think that you probably would have a different view if you saw the parameters of what we came up with the committee.
yeah, there's a very specific
And what are they?
amount of
Hold on, let me pull it up.
It was, we knew going into this that, you know, there was gonna be people that were, we couldn't make everybody happy when you have, you know, 20 businesses
So.
and
do you want
20 artists essentially, but.
Want to know what it was for the bakeries, because the bakeries that
so-
were left off are very odd.
Actually not. Perishables, food products shall be packaged for resale following the prepared food tax standards featuring like whatever. So that's what we went with. So I know you're probably talking about Bald Eagle.
And Elk Creek and.
And yeah, because those places are coffee shops. They don't make their coffee. They're not, so like the bakeries on it because they're packaged for resale and they don't have to have a food tax. And then
No,
Sleepy Monk.
we included people, we included,
I pay food tax when I go to the bakery.
we included places,
Yeah, I do.
So if you buy a loaf of bread, it's packaged for resale. That they actually make the baked goods
Okay,
and then
like Sea Level, for instance, you can buy their bread at Fresh Foods.
Okay,
it's packaged
It's
for
not-
resale.
not-
There's no food tax.
So the reason when we got,
Same with
this
Sleepy
got
Monk.
hairy with the, let's say, the pastries at,
Bald Eagle.
Bald Eagle.
Elk Creek, yeah.
Then it drifts, then it's like, oh, is this a restaurant guide? Then like the rest, so the food tax was where we
The line.
made that.
Because then suddenly like,
Did I remember?
no, if
seeing
it's
something?
packaged for resale. So like you go to the bakery, the Cannon Beach
Yeah.
Bakery, you buy a donut, you pay a food tax. But you buy a loaf of bread, there's no tax. Same
And-
thing with
And Sleepy
Sea
Monk
Level.
is because they make
they
their
make their
coffee.
coffee. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's actually not taxed because it's a
Yeah.
resale item.
It is,
Hey,
it was.
Creek totally understood it, but I didn't know.
She didn't.
On all of this.
Happy camper.
Oh, I talk to her every day. Terry Sue?
Happy camper.
Oh,
No, I mean, we.
I mean,
lament
so
this,
once,
But it was unavoidable. It's some.
so once
some
you
way
start
to
putting
come
on,
to-
somebody makes scones, then, okay, well, then it becomes a restaurant guide. But it's about making things, actually making things for resale in Cannon Beach. Driftwood makes their own clam chowder. Why are they not on it? Like,
But so I guess the issue I have is you've got 3 places that bake things.
and it's not for resale.
Okay. What does that have to do with this? I mean, it's not for resale, except for it is for sale because you go in and give them money.
Resale, but no, like packaged to go out for resale, like granola is packaged or like, so for example, like Elk Creek,
Mhm.
they are a coffee shop.
Mhm.
They don't make their coffee. If they made their coffee, that would be a different thing. But you go and buy a scone, you're paying the food tax and that's not for resale. That's just for sale.
Okay,
Like, so it's not packaged as,
Again, I would use the Sea Level bread
yeah,
when sold at places around town. That is
well,
not
that's
Sea
just
Level.
it's really
And-
obscure
and
to me because they also don't use their own they don't make their own coffee.
It's not about the.
Bald Eagle doesn't make coffee. It's not about coffee, then, okay. Then I think we just need to be clear about this if we move ahead, that's the parameters and that we agreed upon it. This is city money. This is not
Yeah, no,
something that where, I don't know.
well, I mean, coming up with the committee came up with which I support, using the food tax as the line. And it makes sense to me. It makes perfect
That's-
sense.
That, I have no problem with it. The issue is that you came up with them, but they never got passed back through us, which is on us.
Yeah,
Which is on
Yeah.
us.
and it was
Because-
out of our normal realm, so this is
Yes.
a learning moment of
Yes.
when we
Learning
are expanding our scope. Where are our check-ins along the way of,
Yes.
So
because
you
we have a
come back
midterm-
halfway through and say, these are,
Well, we do
you know,
the
maybe,
midterms.
maybe.
I would have wanted those parameters to be
Just-
passed through us
Okay.
and seen it ahead of time because it is city money and people are looking, they're asking me, it's like, well, I do this, why aren't I on here?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I don't know. And it's like city money, it's like everybody should be on there and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't disagree with you. So that's the hard
Well,
part.
do you want me to email to you
Nope.
so you can tell people?
Nope.
No, but I think or is it something like, okay, we're gonna do this before we grant fund? And I'm I'm using this as an
They
example.
grant the funds, it's the same as doing a midterm. We approve him for the comedy festival, and then we get a midterm, like, how's it going? Any problems? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
It's that check-in ahead of time,
before the
because
event.
to me, there's nothing keeping anybody from, I couldn't figure out what it was. It's like Elk Creek's not on here. It's not because they're doing their own coffee, because New Sea,
No,
you
yeah,
know what I
you're
mean.
wanting to know.
Sea Level, I can't keep the naming straight. They don't use their own coffee.
Gotcha.
So Insomnia, and Stevie Monk doesn't make their own donuts. They bring their own, they go get the donuts from somewhere else.
So do we
So-
rely on the midterm, or do we rely on it all up front with the parameters before the grant funding?
But we're not
Going
seeking, we're
forward.
not seeking any more. funding.
No, you aren't. I'm
It's
just
the
saying
problem for next time.
for the next person, or
Yep.
if you guys come back for a revamp down the road. I mean, I'm not pointing this specifically. We just know we're gonna have learning moments
I mean,
as we expand.
the obvious follow-up to this would be a restaurant guide,
Yes,
and that's speaks for itself.
a different.
This was,
Well,
like, developing parameters, like, this is about as difficult of a
Right.
needle to thread as you can find.
Yeah,
I don't want to miss the forest for the trees in that, like, I think this does point out a really cool section of things that are made in Cannon Beach. They are flying off the racks
Yeah.
I mean, like, we expect at this rate, they've been on the racks for what, 2 weeks? We expect them to be gone by the end of summertime. I didn't think they'd be moving like they are. I'll be working at the bistro and people will come in holding them. I mean, they're like, I've seen them in the wild. Michelle has had to restock a number of places already.
so they're at the
and-
chamber and at the locations,
Mhm.
anywhere else?
Yeah, I hit a lot of the hotels.
Okay.
And then I've already gone back and restocked with them.
Like, and just on it, just this, like, forget the data inside.
Mhm.
Just picking this up is like a reminder to think differently about what you're looking for and what you're buying. That's the big thing, because there are so many, I didn't really think about it until we went through this process. But like, you can walk down the street and see these shops and like, oh my gosh, nothing was made, forget in this town, like in this country,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, for sure.
it's,
Yeah.
and it's just really about
Like I went
making you think twice about.
I
where
went
you're-
so deep to like, where did she get the oyster shell?
Yeah.
And then I actually went to Pelican. I was like, do you actually ever brew here? No, they don't. So they've never used those
Yeah,
tanks.
yeah, I mean, like,
Oh,
go,
Seriously.
we went to,
Like-
every gallery and like had
Like,
like
do you-
survey,
yeah.
like, and it was surprising to find out certain galleries, don't
Yeah,
have. a
Dragonfire does
single-
not have one local artist. And yeah, it was
and that's-
very researched and
So that, the issue then is your parameters, you came up with parameters, but they didn't get approved through us, so it makes it look like it was biased. And then that's when I get called on the carpet, and it's like, I can't answer that because you're right, Sea Level doesn't use their coffee, Cannon Beach, the bakery doesn't use their own coffee, so it's not just, because Sleepy Monk totally made sense to me. And then it was like, but wait, you bake your goods but you bring some in, but so does Sleepy Monk. They bring in their own.
Yeah, I thought-
donuts
I
from
felt-
Elsewhere.
I felt like it was super cut and dry and apparently it's not, because I understand what
Yeah,
package for
when-
resale
when-
means.
When the food
Yeah.
tax.
Yeah, like, so as soon as somebody said the food tax, I was
They
like,
separated
okay,
the restaurant,
yeah, and
well, and
The reason it doesn't make sense is because I go in and I get charged a food tax when I buy something.
a loaf of bread.
Elk Creek. No, but at Elk Creek,
But
I go
that's
in
not
and I get
resale,
charged
that's
a-
just sale. Resale is
But-
something being,
but I get charged a food tax for it. So when you
Yeah.
say it's the food tax, it's like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
no, so if you don't get charged the food tax, you're on the list.
Right.
if you buy yeah.
But if you go into Sea Level and you buy a loaf of bread, I get handed a loaf of bread.
So that was the only one that was like, but they also are over for sale.
I understand that
Yeah.
now, but just
Yeah.
saying the food tax doesn't make sense to anybody because it's like, but wait, I'm charged a food tax. I don't get it. So anyway.
That's the first time I've heard that one, so you're the only one.
Yeah.
No.
With the sea
that's
level.
What they're saying to me
Yeah.
is, but I do the same thing. So anyway, I'm just.
Does it make
mostly
sense
it's-
now?
Mostly it's, I suppose, to me, we probably needed to think it through ahead of time and we didn't. And there needs to be some sort of a thing before it hits the press, before
Yeah.
we're sitting here
But we
getting the
knew-
hard questions
Believe me,
standing in line.
Julie, when we sat down and pitched this thing, I did not think it was going to be
Yeah.
the lift that it was.
Oh, I
It
can
was,
imagine
it was way,
Oh,
way
I
more
get it.
meetings
For
and
sure.
way more,
And defining the parameters. And then there's one thing to define the parameters, but then does it need to be marketed within those parameters? How much is put out there as far as how it's figured out? Because, yeah, if I'm looking at this and I'm saying everything handmade right here in Cannon Beach and it's a touchy.
Well, then
a
it's like, then
touchy-
you could just throw everything out.
I understand.
And it's like,
I
get it.
totally, I am,
didn't force you to think it through and we didn't think it through. And
I've-
so I get customers coming in, it's like, well, Vigo isn't in here. Don't they do the same thing the Sleepy Monk does?
yeah.
And it's like, yeah. I don't know.
And-
I don't know.
And,
So let me ask.
yes, and it's accountability on our side. I mean, again, as we're
city funds.
expanding all this, it is, we don't know how it's all gonna roll out until you get there. And then you're like, okay.
It's also something new and everybody has a
Well,
hard
that's
time
what
with
I'm
something
saying.
new. So.
It's the same thing with the bathrooms versus,
Exactly.
you know, all these infrastructure deals of what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do, and things that are new
And the only
frontiers
reason
that
we're
have
talking
not
about it
been.
now is because you brought that up and it was like, oh, we got pissed people. It's on the agenda to talk with
Right.
Ashley
On
on
Friday.
Friday after we discussed to go through how do we do that? I don't know why she thinks it's an issue because to me, it's the same as a midterm.
And pushing it, the artist, coming up with the artist too, was like, oh, but so-and-so has lived here for 1,000,000 years. And part of the parameters is like, you have to be a current resident of Cannon Beach. I don't care that Jim Haynen has lived here before and made a bill that you have to live here right
and,
now.
and be selling it.
And it was, I pissed a lot of people off, that, you know, you piss a lot of people off doing something cool, so. whatever.
Yeah.
But also, but for that said, made a lot of people happy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, most people are super stoked. And from what I've heard from Elk Creek, they were stoked. And I think they have asked me for more like 3 days ago. So that's, I mean, just. saying.
Well, that's okay. We collect the data on the back end and we learn and we, you know, go from there. But, you know, visually, I think it brings something that we don't have
You know,
either.
We went through different colors and like, I know that like having a dark background is kind of
Yeah.
radical. But boy, when you see it on a shop counter,
Yeah.
like well, just this table, does it
Oh, yeah.
like explode off of
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's where I'm like, okay, another facet, another thing to get through there. And yeah, there's no reason why we shouldn't have a restaurant guide or this, you know, I don't know.
But then where does that go? Does Moe's count? Like, do they make their clam chowder here? But they do
Well,
make
if we're
tacos.
not going off of makers.
It's not on me, it's not on me, I'm not doing that.
It's-
I know, I'm just
it's a
joking.
Restaurant guide.
Then maybe all the
It's not like it hasn't been. bought
Cannon Beach
before.
code of arguments over who has the best chowder don't need to be
Right.
on Facebook. Anyhow, okay, well, thank you guys very much and awesome.
Was that
Good,
it? Are we
good.
done?
We are done.
Hey, I have a quick question about the.
Thank you, Andrew, very, very much.
Thank you, Andrew. With the approval of the minutes.
This one, I know.
I know you
Where's
could.
We need an exit,
The
back
bathroom.
yeah, bathroom and the,
The
Drafting
approval of the
text.
minutes? We didn't do, oh.
oh, that's for Friday.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Nope, you're
This is
good.
just interviews.
Okay, got it.
And then Friday is it's the more official. That's when we go through all the numbers on these.
How long is that meeting?
I think this one's gonna be longer than our hour because we have
Yeah.
Oh,
the finals. I mean, it's our normal monthly meeting
Oh, and we have,
plus our final reports through.
I think we have it from 10:30 to 1:30.
Yeah,
think we
it's a
do
long
too.
one
okay,
because
and.
we have our
there's,
grant
And
recommendations.
community input,
Yes,
which we already have some in the
we have,
packet.
we have a couple in the
Yeah, we have a
packet.
couple in the packet.
I already got everything out of order. Oh, no.
Okay, so I think honestly, yeah. It's not gonna be less than 2 hours for sure. I would say, I would
I think we have,
That is the one that is when Ashley,
She's
comes to the
scheduled
meeting
for
as
us.
well, to answer any questions, if I understand right.
we only have the room scheduled for tomorrow.
I think so.
Is it here again? Oh
No,
my God.
It is.
oh,
isn't it?
10:30 to 1:30. We have it for 3.
Oh,
Is it
Oh.
here?
It is
Oh, it is
I
here.
think it is here.
It is here.
So any, public input would have to be on Zoom probably, although I suppose they can
We
come
only
here,
have 2 chairs.
it's fine.
I should have
have two
said,
chairs.
we will adjourn.